podcasting. Podcasting never changes, John. Just every week you sit down and you record the world famous Rage Select podcast right here. Now I need Ron Perlman. Do you know Ron Perlman?
I don't. Though I do have an interesting Ron Perlman story.
Oh yeah?
Well, it's not really interesting.
Did he
but
buy you like an Arby's?
No.
Big Montana one
So I
time,
met
or?
Ron Perlman once.
Okay.
It was actually before Hellboy came out.
Okay.
And Guillermo del Toro did a screening in Austin for a like a rough cut edit of the film.
Okay.
Didn't have any of the soundtracks or anything, and Ron Perlman was there, and a friend got me in.
Right.
And we were standing around, and like he was like, "Oh, let's go talk to Ron Perlman real quick." We walked over before the movie started, and we're talking. And we're like, "Hey, big fans." He's like, "That's really cool. It's really cool." And Guillermo del Toro started talking to
Do it
us.
in Ron Perlman voice. Make it.
Well, he was just like,
That's
thanks.
really cool.
And he's just like,
Thanks.
real thanks. And he didn't really say much. And,
Right.
and Del Toro was talking to us
Uh-huh.
because he's also there. And then just at one point, I noticed Perlman staring at my feet.
Um.
And I'm like,
Hey, Ron Perlman. Why are you
Well-
looking at my feet like that?
and I kind of look at him, and he realizes that I'm catching him looking at my feet, and he goes, "Oh, I just realized we're wearing the same shoes." And I was like, "Yeah, did you get them at the shoe bar?" Like it was, I got mine at a place called a Shoe Barn.
Okay.
It was like a discount place called a Shoe Barn. And he was like, "Yeah, I shop there a lot." I was like,
the fact that this is going
and I was just like, "This is the most amazing conversation ever."
Just talking to Ron Perlman about shopping at the Shoe Barn. Well, hey, guess what? Late title card. Welcome to the podcast. I am Jeff.
I'm John.
And we have, as always, all the news. Oh, shit, I haven't even picked out any questions yet. There's going to be questions. There's news. There's so many things. But before we get to all that, I think there's only one thing. I think that I'm changing the name. You know what I need, John, is I need a web developer that I need to make a full font for the Rage Select logo. And then every week I need to change the word Rage to something else. Because this week it's fucking Fallout Select. Because we've had midnight streams, 3 videos. There's a bonus Patreon video. I haven't decided whether we're going to do a Sunday stream on this shit yet. I made the mistake when Metal Gear Solid 5 came out.
Yeah.
Of being like, I'm just going to hold back on Metal Gear. People don't really want to see. It's just I'm a big fan, but they don't want to see a ton of Metal. Everybody wanted to see a ton of Metal Gear.
Of course.
Right? So I'm kind of at this point like maybe this week we go in the opposite direction and just shove rad scorpions into people's faces until they're like, stop. Enough.
Eat the rad roach meat.
Enough.
Eat the rad roach meat.
Enough. I had to break down in Fallout 4 and finally start eating the dog meat. I stayed away from that for a long time, but what broke
the
me...
mongrel meat.
Yeah, but what broke me is the fact that, one, I'm carrying a bunch of it around, and 2, the super mutant dog meat, when you cook it, reduces your rats. It's like a food that actually reduces your total
Oh, wow.
rats.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But before we do the news and everything, John, I know that you and I think we both have a lot to say about Fallout 4.
We do. We talked about it a lot.
I probably should have stopped that conversation before it started because we spent like 45 minutes before we started recording just talking
Well, we
about
had nothing
Fallout
else to talk about. We literally had nothing else to talk about.
I don't shop at the Shoe Barn, John. All right, I shop at Sears where old men shop.
Shoes.
All right?
Shoes never change.
Shoes never change.
Shoes never change.
So yeah, I mean, we're not doing like in-depth spoiler cast reviews or stuff like that for the time being until I get my head on straight or get on like all whacked up on, I don't know, prescription, non-prescription.
Well, I'm going to be honest.
In general,
you're
but
probably a lot further along in the game than I am. I still feel like I'm in the beginning of the game.
I'm probably about 14 hours because I'm a crazy person.
Yeah, I haven't been able to play it that much.
Yeah. Well, let's run on down the line. What are your initial impressions so far?
I like it.
Yeah,
it's a good game.
I think it is a good game as well.
It's got problems.
It definitely does have problems. It's.
But you know what?
Where to start?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
And I've gotten actual shit on this show from fans and from other people for my comments about Fallout 3.
Yeah.
Which is, when I played it, I fucking loved it, obsessed with it. It was the greatest game ever.
Right.
And then I stopped playing it for like 6 months, and I came back, and I went, ugh. Oh, this game's terrible.
How did I? All those negative comments, right, were just my legion of sock puppet accounts, right?
I figured.
It's like all.
Oh, no, I know.
Oh, 64 of my sock
I kind of
accounts.
assumed.
I'm all of you people. I think you think you're commenting, but I'm all of you.
I know. I think sometimes you're even me when I comment on there.
That's right.
It's actually you posting as me.
Yeah.
Somehow you hacked my account.
That's right.
But anyways, so I just because of all the Bethesda-isms that are in the game, because I'm not a fan of a lot of Bethesda games. Like
I wasn't up
I
until
think-
Fallout 3, I think, and then that Skyrim
I
really
think
turned
they
me
are
around.
a good company, and I think that they do game types that no one else does.
Can we just sidebar here for a second?
Yeah.
Because I really want to ask the listeners. So I'm trying to come up with, can you think of an open world RPG that has the level of depth as any Bethesda, as a Fallout 3, Skyrim? I mean, Fallout 4 is cutting some major corners,
It
right?
is, it is.
But I'm just trying to think of, because, JRPGs aren't that, they're focused on like
Story.
very polished combat
Yeah.
and then storylines and stuff, but they don't have the kind of like open-ended, messy, just picking stuff up and putting it other places and huge numbers of factions and all this stuff that Bethesda games have. I'm curious to know if anybody can think of something
Yeah.
that kind of falls under that same category, because I'm having a hard time. I mean,
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that they're very unique in that.
yeah,
I do feel that Bethesda's vision for a game may be so large that it's impossible to QA it properly.
right. No, yeah.
And also, I think it's so large that a lot of the more finer details
Yeah.
get overlooked and may not be as polished as maybe they should be.
I think, I mean, having worked on a QA staff before on an MMO, which did have a lot of moving parts. It was an
Yeah,
older MMO,
yeah.
so it had a lot of shit bolted onto it. I can say that it is exceptionally difficult. I've said this on the show before. I find it's exceptionally difficult. Like, take Skyrim, right?
Yeah.
Skyrim had that memory problem on the Fallout
Yeah,
on the PS3,
Yeah.
where if you played it for like 100 hours, it would start to slow down just because these huge ass game save files, it would slow down. As an XQA tester, I can tell you there's no real good way to test that before
Yeah.
you launch a game. Like, you don't pay a person to play a build of your game for 100 hours, because chances are tomorrow there's going to be another build of it, right? You're hot fixing all the way up until it goes gold.
Yeah.
And once that happens, you could do it. But even once that happens, you'd be looking at that'd be a patch you'd have to go into later. Anyway, there's a lot of test cases in this stuff that I find that people get pissed off about,
Yeah.
that are unreasonable to test. Right?
I agree.
Now, there's some shit in Fallout 3 that I don't feel is unreasonable to test. Like when
You're talking
I'm
about
in
Fallout 4 or
Fallout 4. When
Okay.
I'm back away from a crafting station in third person and the camera gets fucked up, and it happens like 75% of the time that I back off of the station to the point where I now know I have to jump back into first person, then back out into third person
Yeah.
in order to make it work. Like, that is something, if you see a ghoul out in the wasteland who's flying, right?
Yeah.
Or somebody accidentally falls through the floor, or you fall through the floor, get
Or
stuck.
you look over at Dogmeat and he's just standing on air.
Right.
Believe it or not.
Unless that happens like every time that you're hanging out with Dogmeat, I honestly think that I saw a lot of stuff on the internet that got my hackles up before Fallout came out, because it was people pointing to like 6 YouTube videos of buggy shit.
Yeah.
And this is something that I really, I mean, we talked about this before.
Yeah.
And I don't know what your opinion is about it, but like, all of Bethesda's games have launched
Broken.
what you would probably call broken, right?
Yeah.
And then they're patched and eventually they get better, but usually they're not even super great.
Yeah.
And so the real question is, in 2015, like, my first reaction to seeing that was, well, it's a Bethesda game. What the fuck did you
Yeah,
didn't
no,
expect,
exactly.
right?
That was actually what I was about to say. Is
Yeah.
that I have a friend at work who basically the day before the game came out was like, "Oh man, have you been seeing all this and showing me all this stuff on one of our breaks?"
Right.
And I was like, "It's a Bethesda game. What did you expect?" And he was like, "Well, I love Skyrim. And I think Skyrim's one of the best games ever. And I love Elder Scrolls Online. I think it's one of the best games ever. And I
But
love."
you know a person that said Elder Scrolls Online is one of the best
Still
games?
plays it.
Okay.
Still plays it.
I mean, it's not a bad
yeah.
game.
Yeah,
Let's
no.
put it- it's not a bad
He's like,
game,
and I
but-
love Fallout 3. It's one of the best games ever. It's
Right.
like the Bethesda's the company that makes the best games ever. It's like, yeah, but all their games are released broken.
Yeah.
It's like they fix a lot of it, maybe not all of it, but they fix a lot of it later
Yeah.
with patches and updates with DLC and story
Right.
content or whatever. They fix a lot of it later, but a lot of their games launch broken.
But so then the question, I mean, the real question, the question to both the audience and to you is, should we be expected to put up with a fundamentally a game that if any other I said this to you before.
Yeah.
Last year, Assassin's Creed got just like dragged over the coals on Unity
Yes.
about all the bugs, right? We're seeing stuff in Fallout 4 that is equivalent to, that lady goes speeding
Yeah.
off, or like people's character models are all broken the wrong way. There is stuff in Fallout 4 that is equivalent to that, and we just fucking. I mean, I spent 4 shows just shitting on Ubisoft for that, right?
I actually have an answer for you.
Okay,
with Unity,
right.
with Assassin's Creed Unity, when you look at the game with the bugs not there,
okay,
is it a great game?
No. Well, I don't think so, but that's just.
I agree with you. It's a shit. It's a shit game, even for Assassin's Creed standards. It's probably the worst Assassin's Creed game out there.
I think it just falls more into that most horrible trap of boring.
Yeah, and exactly that's what I mean.
It's not
boring.
even a bad game. It's just so tepid that it's like.
Having said that, with as little as I've played of Fallout 4,
right.
I'm actually enjoying playing it.
Yeah.
Despite the bugs and the jankiness and the kind of clunky feeling controls and the things that I'm just not happy with.
Right.
Like the Bethesda isms, like the things that make me hate Bethesda games
are still there.
Yeah. But I'm still enjoying the game.
I mean, I think
so. Therefore, I think I'm at a point where because I experienced Fallout 3 the way I experienced it, and now I'm coming to Fallout 4, and because I know those things are going to be there,
right,
I'm a little bit more forgiving for it.
And so at the end of the day, I mean, it still comes back to like the question of should we be allowing Bethesda to get away with that? Should Fallout 4 be getting like a good solid 10 points or a full star knocked off of it because we live in an age where people don't put up with that shit, right? We just don't. We do not put up with games that launch and have a shit ton of bugs in them.
Again, I think the difference between going back to the difference between it and Unity is I think that despite the bugs, they're different levels of game. It's one thing to have a game that's purported as being the best of a franchise and is actually complete garbage and is also riddled with bugs and is riddled with bugs because of the garbage way they developed the game and a lot of the mechanics that didn't need to be there that they shoehorned in and broke the game even more to do, as opposed to a game that actually has controls that are great, that are good, that are serviceable, has a story that's entertaining and has a gameplay that is doing so much, that allows you to do so much. I can I can forgive
it's almost like higher highs and lower lows still equal, like more higher highs and fewer lower lows than I get what you're saying there. It's
and plus, how many games are released broken these days? I mean, Batman Arkham Knight for fucking PC.
Oh yeah, let's not get started.
It's like there's a lot of games that get released broken, but they're not. This game is not as broken as those games.
And that's one of the things that I know that there were a lot of people before this released. I mean, even when I was setting up the midnight stream, who just seemed like personally offended that Fallout 4 dipped below 30 frames per second from time to time. I'll be honest. Like, I don't know if it's just because I'm not used to playing. I don't have a PC. Last weekend I went over to my friend's house and helped to put an i7 and like a GTX 980 and a liquid cooling system into his computer because he bought a 4K monitor and he wants to play Fallout 4 at 4K.
Oh, nice.
So we spent a good 4 hours putting together a monster PC for that. I don't have a monster PC to be able to run, and I don't even get a chance to play most games on my PC. So I think that I might have become more acclimatized to the console environment that, like, it just doesn't seem like... It would be one thing if every single time you got into a firefight in Fallout 4, if the frame rate dipped into below the 20s.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to, at least on the PS4.
Well, here's the thing.
It may dip to mid-20s and then pop back up a second later, but people seem just unbearably pissed off that it's not 60 frames per second.
Here's another thing. You talk about you're playing on the PS4.
Right.
And all I see online is, well, if you want the optimal, you want to play it on PC. But if you're going to be playing on console, you need to play it on PS4 because while PS4 has its issues, the Xbox One is four times as bad.
It's garbage.
It's just garbage and unplayable.
Burning
and if
garbage.
you even put the thing in your console, it'll ruin your console forever because it's terrible and it's unplayable experience. I own it on Xbox One and I've yet to have a problem.
Yeah.
If it's dipped below the frame rate, if the frame rate has actually dipped any, I haven't noticed it.
I mean, I've definitely noticed frame rate dips, but on the other hand, it's like, I guess the thing is that, like, I definitely enjoy it when a game stays at a constant frame rate.
I agree.
Right? But I've seen plenty of games that have a little bit of a frame rate dip if there's a lot of shit going on the screen. Like, it's just kind of a fact of life, and I guess it's weird to me
Even
to
on my
see
computer,
this.
it's a fact of life.
Yeah, it just seems strange to me to see so many people that are so upset at a marginal dip in frame rate that doesn't even seem to last that long. Like
Yeah.
I was watching a Digital Foundry video where they were showing it. They have a graph at the bottom that shows the frame rate. It's going up and down, right? So something big would happen and it would go down, but it'd go down for like a couple of seconds and then it'd go back up again. Like it would be one thing if the game ran at 12 frames per second. It would be a full, but it's not. It's running pretty consistently for me around 30 and then dips from time to time and then goes back up again. But I'm so engrossed in like the story and stuff. Well, let's get to that in a second. But I'm so engrossed with the actual gameplay. I'll tell you the thing. I'll tell you the only thing that really, really bothers me.
Okay.
And I was actually really close to looking at the Rage Select bank account and being like, how much does it cost to get a solid state drive? Because I do not, the loading times on Fallout 4, that was the reason why when I finally got all the way into Skyrim, I did it on the PC. Because on the PS3, it was like a 4-minute loading time.
Yeah.
And on the PC, it was like, I could barely read the tooltip before it loaded back up again. So one of these days, maybe I'll buy a second computer, which I probably should already have, like one for capture and rendering and one for playing games on. But I haven't been really offended at the frame rate. I tell you what I have been offended at, though, is that at first when people were talking about the way that they changed the dialogue system, I was like, you overreacted, internet. But I'm kind of on their side now, John.
I think the writing's terrible.
I think that the voice acting's kind of bad too from your character. Like your character has very little emotion and bounces all over the place. I mean, we've seen in a game like Mass Effect that like I could play through Mass Effect as Renegade Shepard, and Renegade Shepard is angry all the time, right? When my character in Fallout goes to the angry response, they don't really even seem all that pissed off. And more than that, it's more that like, how do I be the biggest asshole in the wasteland?
Yeah, this is the big thing, and I actually agree with you on this.
How in Fallout 3, in the first 20 minutes of the game, you can go to Megaton, talk to the guy, go to Tenpenny Tower, and literally blow up Megaton in a nuclear explosion.
Yeah, they're like, okay, you have a choice. You can either be Mr. Goody Two Shoes and fix the thing so that no one dies, or you can kill everyone.
Right. Whereas
because we're bored and we would like to see that happen.
I may have not gotten far enough in the game yet, but it seems like
there is no moment like that.
It seems like your ability to craft your story the way that you want to do it is dramatically reduced from previous games. I mean, even when you look at Skyrim and the way that you could kind of ally yourself with either what the Nords or the Imperials, right? That you could kind of pick a side, and there were a couple of other places where in Skyrim where you could like resolve a conflict by fucking over your friends and then taking the ultimate power, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like in here, it doesn't really feel like there are factions.
No.
I mean, there are factions, but it's like they're either factions that are cool with you or factions that are totally 100% want to kill you.
I mean, maybe I should start up a new game and just like kill. But see, even that, I was talking to you before about that. I can't. When Brian and I were playing on the dojo, I was like, let's kill all the Minutemen, right? Let's kill the Minutemen and ally with somebody who's not Minutemen.
Yeah.
Can't do that,
You
man.
can't do that. No.
Like I was saying in Broken Steel in Fallout 3, you could destroy the Brotherhood of Steel. You could straight up nuclear, like orbital strike their headquarters.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it just doesn't feel like you have that much agency. The perfect example is when Brian and I were playing and we kept saying no to the Preston Garvey character.
Yeah.
And you'd say no, and he'd be like, well, that's okay, I'll tell you anyway. And it was like, fucking no. Like, I miss my Renegade Shepard. Like, no, and I hope you die. And I'll be happy when that happens.
Yeah. And it's like, well, what is it? You also played it, because I did watch a little bit of it. You also tried to kill Preston in the video.
Yep.
And you found
invincible.
out he is 100% invincible and can't die.
Yep.
And then he was still cool with you. Like, it wasn't like well, you tried to kill me, now I have to kill you back. It was, ha ha, you.
Yeah. He didn't. I don't think he even really acknowledged it, did he?
No, he didn't.
Where I just talked to him again. He's like, oh, so you beat me to death with a pool cue. Are you ready to join the Minutemen now? And I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
No. Yeah, so I think that has taken a real step back. I also, it's funny, this is 14-hour first impressions, but for me, for Fallout 4, that's really still first impressions.
Yeah.
I'm also not super happy with the way that they changed the RPG system, because it seems like I've just spent a lot of time putting points into. It breaks my heart. They've kind of broken VATS.
Yeah, they have.
Like at a distance.
I still like VATS.
Yeah,
but it is broken.
Well, not up close. Like definitely not up close. But from a distance, like I have a character that is now spec'd for stealth, and I got a 3x bonus attack, and if I shoot somebody in the head. All right. So let's say that I'm standing here and like 500 yards away or whatever. There's a raider. He can't see me. He's just standing on top of a building. Right. I go into VATS, and it gives me a 2% chance to shoot him in the head. I have a super big long range scope on this rifle, so I exit out of VATS, and then I just aim at his head and shoot. Then I hit his head. I get the 3x damage. His head fucking pops off, but I don't get my cool VATS cinematic, and that's what I really want. Is I played all of Fallout 3 with VATS because, as you were pointing out, it was kind of ludicrous not to. It was broken.
In Fallout 3, that's the biggest thing. Is that in Fallout 3, if you were trying to play without using VATS, you were playing a broken game.
Yeah,
you would point at someone point blank and miss 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. I don't know that I don't know because I didn't play.
Yeah.
I
at least
VATS,
it was at first. I think they patched it to make it a little bit better. But I mean, at first it was like you could literally be like 3 feet from someone, point it at their head, pull the trigger, and hit someone else that was like way far away.
Yeah,
because it was like, well, the dice roll said you rolled a 1, so too bad. You know,
I mean, and like I have like they say that what is it like perception, I think, is what controls your percentages in VATS.
Yeah.
I have like 8 perception or like 7 or 8 perception, and I'm still getting 2% on stuff that I can really honestly. And so I don't know. This is one of those weird things that I don't know if after, because Skyrim didn't have anything like VATS in it, but I really consider the VATS to be like the thing that made Fallout 3 Fallout 3.
Yes.
And not being able to use it is really bumming me out. Like, I mean, I can still use it.
It's not that you can't use it. It's that why would you? Because they've spent so much time trying to fix the FPS action element of it, like trying to fix that complaint.
Yes.
That they made VATS sort of pointless.
Yeah, because it seems like they're really pushing you to go with the real-time combat. I mean, like I just said, right? Yeah. I can snipe somebody in the head, get my 3x bonus, and fuck, man, I could shoot him 2 or 3 times in the head. And in VATS, like there's some formula that I haven't figured out yet for how, like, because I have a hunting rifle, right?
Yeah.
And my hunting rifle is able to get 2 VATS shots.
Yes.
And it's relatively the same precision. It's a little bit further range, but it's relatively similar precision as my 10mm pistol with a silencer that I decked out, right?
Yeah.
That thing gets like 15. I mean, no, it's literally like 8 to 10 shots in VATS to the point where I can crit and then build up a second crit before it's even finished shooting.
Yeah.
And so you start to look at that system and just go, why? Why would I use a long-range rifle in VATS ever? Like, it's better off for me to just use the long-range rifle, and then when somebody gets up close to me, switch over to the pistol, and then just VATS the fuck out of them, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't play, and there don't seem to be very many perks. Like, in the previous game, there were perks, like Sniper was a perk that would give you better headshot percentages in VATS. Or Focus Fire, where if you focus on the same body part in VATS multiple times, your chance to hit goes up higher and higher. But Focus Fire is now like a level 9 skill that's like way the fuck down.
Yeah. I will say I don't like the perks page, like because they designed it to be a poster.
Yeah,
and if you bought a physical copy of the game, you get that poster.
Yeah.
As a poster, it looks pretty.
Yeah.
It looks nice. I wouldn't mind having it on my wall, and I might actually frame it and put it on my wall at some point.
Right.
As an in-game thing that I'm supposed to use to upgrade my stuff, kind of bullshit.
I always...
Or I should say, kind of look at it and not understand how it works.
I think that it's just there were clearer ways to lay out that information.
Yes, I agree.
That if you would have taken away the poster aspect and all the little animated stuff, which is cool. I mean, like, hey, I love all the little animated.
I feel like there's too much going on. It's too busy.
Right. Is it what it actually is it's a, every category, every stat has an associated level of perks that are attached to it, but then they have separate requirements for each level. It's kind of like, it almost might work better if they just drew a line, if they just drew 5 lines between each one of the things to delineate, this is the charisma perk tree, this is the perception perk tree. The thing that pisses me off, and this may seem like a nutty complaint, but as a min-maxer I'm trying to get stuff, is that the amount of points that you have in like perception is stars. And so when I need 7 perception to unlock a perk, I have to go up to the top and then I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like I'm counting literally on the screen.
It's counting stars like that song
Yeah.
by One Republic.
Damn it. Okay, you've ruined it. We're done talking about Fallout. John brought up One Republic, folks. Abort, eject. That's done. No, I feel it's a good game. I think at the end of the day, I'm probably not going to enjoy it as much as I did Fallout 3.
Yeah. I said, I actually think I might end up enjoying this in the long run more.
Yeah.
Because I've already disillusioned myself of the, oh my God, it's Fallout. You know,
Yeah.
I'm already disillusioned of that because of Fallout 3. And I actually find that I am enjoying it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Despite certain things. And by certain things, I mean like story and the writing of the dialogue.
See, I think that gets better. Like, I just went to go to I've ran into, I don't know if you've seen Nick Valentine in any of the things.
No. Again,
He's like this
I am
private
very
detective.
early in the game.
Okay.
Like
I mean, he's like this fucking trench coat fedora wearing, like, so tell me about the problem, see? And I'm like, I love this guy. This guy's my favorite, you know?
that guy actually sounds pretty awesome.
I've run into the Brotherhood of Steel. It actually kind of sucks that they start you with the Minutemen, because the Minutemen, to me, are the least interesting faction in the entire game. Like,
Well, they keep alluding to something, and I don't know if this is something from either Fallout history lore that I'm just not super familiar with, or if this is something that's explained more later on, but it's constantly like, you meet people, it's like, oh, the Minutemen. People don't trust them since this thing happened. Well, what was that thing? We're not going to talk about that because it was a terrible tragedy, and
you find out more about that right before you get locked into this mission that was, it was so difficult. I used up everything. And took drugs and wore power armor just to get to the end of that. I was just like, all right, let me just go get everything that I own and bring it to this engagement, because otherwise I'm probably going to die. And I just ended up, like, I think I had like 4 stim packs and like a grand total of like 75 bullets by the time I went and did something way too early. I was supposed to be doing this shit way later in the game.
Okay.
But it's one of those events where when you do it, a bunch of characters move to a location and they won't leave until you finish that quest. I needed them to go so I could turn in a bunch of other quests. But just to be clear, before we move on to the news, I am enjoying Fallout 4.
Oh yeah, no, I like it.
I'm enjoying it. I don't know, and I hate to pass judgment, because the thing is that I did pass judgment on Fallout 3 before I played it, and then I ended up really liking it, and I'm at level 23 now. If I can get to level, I mean, I know there's no level cap, but I just don't know how hard it is to get. It's starting to get a lot
really
harder.
No level cap?
There's no level cap.
Huh.
Yeah. It's like Skyrim. Skyrim has no level cap. It's just as you get into the later game, it just becomes unreasonable to even level up, right?
Yeah.
But I'm level 22 now. I'm just about to unlock 2 things. The first is Gun Nut 3, which is going to let me start to trick out some of the more powerful weapons. And the second is Stealth 4, I believe, which lets me walk at any speed without being detected, which is the most important when you're playing a sneaky character in the game. So, I mean, we can check back and see how it goes.
Yeah, like I said, I'm liking it a lot. I'm actually enjoying myself. I'm also taking my time with it. I don't get a lot of. I don't get like I may be playing it maybe 2 hours a night.
Yeah,
and it's I played it for like 2 hours on Monday after midnight release, and then I played it for about 2 hours, which I actually got it at 11 p.m. Like when I went to Best Buy, because I got it through Best Buy because I had a gift card.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, "All right, well, it's 11 o'clock. Here's your copy.
Well,
see you later."
Maybe because, like, if they're running off the PS4, the PS4 always unlocks at midnight Eastern Standard Time, which is 11 our time.
Yeah.
So that's what.
So I don't know if that was just they were allowed to because of that or whatever, but it was literally like I was like, well, they said midnight release, so I'm gonna get there at about 10:30 because that's when Raw will be over, and also I'll watch some other wrestling thing that I watch on Mondays. And I'm like, all right, well, let's go. We finished watching that stuff. Let's go. And then it's like. And they're like, "Oh yeah, here's your copy." And I'm like, "Well, it's only like it's like 10:40. Why are you giving this to me now?"
Well, there's also, I mean, it seemed like a bunch of people got their hands on it early, so it might have just been that they were like, "You know what? Fuck it, man. Everybody's already got it anyway."
So I got home and it was like 11:05 when I got back home with it. And I was like, "All right, cool. Pop it in, set it to install." Got bored, took a selfie with it. Then took a picture of my fist, shaking my fist at the screen as it's installing.
Right.
You know, because being stupid and I'm bored.
Like you do.
Yeah, like you do. And you know, and then played it for a couple hours, and then played it a couple hours on Tuesday, and then played it for a couple hours on Wednesday, and then I didn't get to play it today because I'm here.
You know what? I have to say that if I could give you one piece of advice, it's at the very beginning of the game. You go, you do the Minutemen thing. then you take the Minutemen back to Sanctuary, right? And the first thing that happens is that Preston gives you the Corvega plant Raider attack.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the worst progression. What you should do
I went there first.
is
already.
go to Diamond City first, because that's where like the action is.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's a lot more interesting stuff going on in Diamond City, because Preston's going to keep giving you those same quests.
Yeah.
Go here, talk to Farm, clear out Raiders. Farm becomes part of the Minutemen in another location. I
Yeah.
also haven't gotten really that far into.
I'm going to be honest. I
Bring a
actually
settlement.
thought that storyline was going to go in a much different direction.
Yep.
Than it does.
You told me, and I agree. But anyway, we have to get to the news, because I already picked out too many newses.
All right, let's do it.
We're gonna
ready.
have to. We're gonna go motor. We're gonna motor in. What's your
Motorin.
What's your fight for flight or whatever?
What's your price for flight?
There you go. John knows that. John knows. John's got me covered in the Night Ranger department.
I do.
Speaking of Night Ranger, BlizzCon was last week.
Yes, it was.
And Night Ranger played.
Did
no,
they?
They didn't play. I was like,
I
really?
had to
Justify my segue, my dumb segue. So we've got a bunch of Blizzard news.
Yeah.
We got, and so the most interesting thing was that Blizzard is putting out there's a new expansion to World of Warcraft called Legion,
Legion, yeah. World of Warcraft Legion.
coming out next summer, and Blizzard gave us one of their, not just like normally when they do these and we report on them, they're doing like in-game cinematics where they clean up the in-game cinematics a little bit. But this is like a full-on Blizzard hotness trailer, right?
They usually do one of these for every expansion.
I don't think they did one for the last one. I think they did one for the Pandaren one, Mist of Pandera.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know if they did one for the last one, because that's when I stopped caring. But
Yeah.
but I know everything up to Mists of Pandaria they've done.
They did one of
They
these
did
for.
at least they did at least one.
Well, allow me to just say, hoobadoo, goddamn Blizzard, you can make yourself a fucking cutscene. They know
Yeah.
how to make them some goddamn cutscenes.
Again, I've
Yeah.
said I've admitted that I used to be an employee there. I would constantly ask, why are we wasting our time with a live action movie? Why aren't we
Okay.
just getting them to?
Damn it, John, you've jumped the gun a little bit. I just wanted to say, so last week, Nick and I watched the teaser because the
Yeah.
Warcraft trailer wasn't out by the time that we were doing the podcast. This right here, this 4 minutes worth of Blizzard
Yeah.
cutscene, better than anything I saw in that World of Warcraft movie trailer.
Yeah.
Uh,
Though don't get me wrong, it looks interesting.
It looks all right.
Looks all right.
I mean, but
I'll watch it.
I would much rather be like, how much money would it take to just expand the team that does these cutscenes and make a full length movie?
And I'm going to be honest,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure everyone has asked that.
Yes.
And I think the people at Blizzard just don't.
They don't want to get into the movie business.
They don't want to have their team that does these cinematics spend all their time making a movie when
Right.
they could be making these cinematics.
Right. No, and I guess the thing about it that I find interesting is that, I mean, just the action and the story that's set up in this little 4-minute cinematic.
Oh, yeah.
it just looks better than what
Here's
are
the
there?
thing.
There are orcs. Oh, there's orcs. Hey, dude, look, should we ally with them? I don't know. Hey, I'm Thrall. I'm an orc. We should work together.
Here's the thing. With this cinematic trailer,
Yeah.
I've never cared about World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I've honestly never given two shits about the game.
Yeah.
I worked at the company. I supported the game.
Right.
Didn't care for it. These trailers
Yeah.
are always engrossing to me.
Oh, yeah.
Are like the thing that's like, man, this is really awesome. I think I want to play World of Warcraft. And then I play World of Warcraft and I'm like, oh yeah, that's
Yep.
right. That's
The
right.
exact
Never
same
mind.
thing has happened
Never
to me.
mind. Never mind.
Like the last 3 times there's been an expansion on Rage Select, I've like loaded up and be like, all right, let's take a look at this. Oh, right.
Yeah.
No. But apparently, okay, so the Burning Legion is coming back to Azeroth. Details here include that there's going to be a new level cap of 110. They've been level capping for so long. 2 new raids, 9 new dungeons, and a Demon Hunter hero class in a new area called the Broken Isles, and more. And it's launching this summer. I have no idea. I haven't seen a single screenshot
Yeah,
of the game.
neither have I.
This cutscene is fucking dynamic and fantastic. And even if you're not a fan of Warcraft, you would be doing yourself a disservice to
thing.
not just go watch it.
When I was working there, they would always give us the collector's editions of these games. And the one reason I would love the collector's editions is because they would come with a DVD of the all the cinematics for whatever game that they were that it was.
Yeah.
And that having that DVD was always like the best thing ever.
Yep.
Because these things are always fucking amazing.
Well, I brought up the fact that there was the World of Warcraft movie trailer, kind of just to poop on it a little bit because of how good that cinematic was. It seems
it looks like a Warcraft movie.
Yeah.
And what most people don't realize is it's not a World of Warcraft movie.
Right.
It's a Warcraft
orcs and
with
humans.
some elements of World of Warcraft, like character design thrown in.
Well, it's an origin story, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
It's the story of Warcraft.
I just think that, when you look at this trailer, and this is we're watching the movie trailer, in comparison to the cinematic trailer, the humans in here look super clean. I guess it's just the armor on them looks super, super clean. Like the orcs are all dirty and sweaty and CGI, and they're doing their thing. But like all of the people design, especially the armor, just looks like super clean, super bright, and it just kind of clashes a little bit to me with the CGI. Like I don't know. It almost feels to me like if you would have asked me beforehand, I would have been like, make it a full CGI movie, even if it's not the Blizzard team doing it.
I agree.
Make the whole thing CGI and make it this good CGI, right? Just don't bother with putting people in it. Because then it would match up better. Because since so much of Warcraft, the Warcraft universe is not humans. I mean, you know, here we're just looking at humans and orcs, but you've also got goblins and trolls and dwarves and the fucking liches and taurens and murlocs and fucking the Burning Crusade and all that shit.
The original Warcraft game was orcs versus humans.
But you also had like Griffin Riders, right? You've got Griffins, and you had the dwarf Griffin Riders. Or were they in 2?
I think those were 2.
Well, there's a Griffin in here. Where dude is.
Well, like I said, they pull some elements from the other games as well.
I don't know. Do you think it's going to be any good? I think it's going to be passable, but I don't think it's going to be
the biggest
great.
problem is that the early Warcraft games, and even World of Warcraft to a degree, have always had a level of humor to themselves that I feel like the people at Blizzard who were in charge of getting this movie made
didn't really understand.
Not that they didn't understand, but they didn't want that. They want the movie to be epic and serious, and they want it to be large in scope and just like Lord of the Rings, but not any of the silly stuff, but the serious epicness of the story.
Yeah.
I feel like and I feel like a lot of that tongue-in-cheek humor that you would get in those games, at least in this trailer, looks to be gone.
Yeah. Yeah,
and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe when we see it, it'll have some moments of tongue-in-cheek humor that'll make it work all together. But I feel like the fact that those elements feel like that they're missing in this trailer may be the biggest thing that's going to hurt the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm the CGI looks good, but it also just the fact there's so many orcs here, and that they decided to go full CGI for the orcs is a little bit. It's just a little bit disturbing to me. Like there's just a bit of a disconnect that I'm not. Anyway, fuck it, man. Reserve judgment. You can make a good trailer out of anything. It could be this is going to be the best movie I've ever seen. Duncan Jones is a good director.
It could be it could be one of the best video game movies we've ever seen.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I the trailer shows me enough potential that it could be good, but it also leaves me wanting more.
I feel like from this trailer, it could go either way.
Yeah, it really could go either way.
Go either
this
way.
is not like a Fantastic Four situation where you look at it and go, "Oh no, this is going to be garbage."
Yeah. All right, let's just slap on through the rest of these BlizzCon announcements. 4 new heroes and a new battleground for Heroes of the Storm. One of those heroes is actually going to be...
Yeah, this is...
there's another one, right? That Overwatch. They're bringing one of the Overwatch heroes into Heroes of the Storm.
Well, they're bringing some Overwatch... They're bringing one of the Overwatch characters, but one of the characters that I actually like about these new characters that they're adding is actually a character that's played by 2 people.
Yeah, Cho'Gall, the two-headed ogre.
Yeah, I'm like, how does that work, and how can I play it? Like, I actually downloaded Heroes of the Storm the other day because I was like, you know what, I need to finally get into this.
Yeah.
And because I want to know how that's played.
Apparently, the interesting thing about it is that people who are at BlizzCon, it's like they have that character and some random people are getting that character. Then if you're playing with a friend who has that character and you play like 3 matches with them as that character, then you get that character. So it's almost like you need to ride shotgun and do, I don't know. It sounds really interesting. Like, Heroes of the Storm has done some crazy shit with some of that MOBA stuff, but that's not, that's not entirely true. MOBAs in general have done a bunch of crazy
Yeah,
shit.
they have.
Like, I played a few Heroes of the Storm matches with people who were playing the 3 Vikings, right? Where you actually have
where it's
3
one
separate
person playing
units.
3 people.
Right. But that's very interesting. I don't know if it's going to be like maybe one person. It seems like if you had one person controlling the character and one person controlling the abilities, that you could have, I mean, as a single character, you could have a really, really powerful character,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and they said that there's a lot of caveats with that. Like the character is powerful. Like the one of the descriptions is that the character is so big that when you call its mount, it instead of jumping on the mount, it picks it up and throws it on its shoulder and then runs at mount speed.
That's great.
But also that when the other team kills that character, they actually get 2 kills.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like it doesn't count as
so,
1 kill. It
yep.
counts as 2 kills.
So more power, but also more possibility.
Yeah,
of,
and also it shortens your team because
Yep.
I mean you can only have 4 people per team.
yeah.
So-
5.
5 people per
Yep.
team. So if you have that character, you can only have 4 people.
Right. I mean, it makes a certain amount of sense considering that at least most of the matches that I played, you would a lot of times have 2 people in 2 of the lanes. You would have 2 people, and then you'd have 1 person covering, and then sometimes people
Yeah.
migrate between lanes. So you could kind of see that working. I don't know. It'll be real interesting. Outside of that, they also said that they're going to be putting in Lunara, King Gen Greymane, or Gen Greymane, who's a Worgen. And is that it? Is that Lumera, Cho'Gall, and then Tracer from
Overwatch. Yeah.
and then there's a new battleground, Towers of Doom, which has a new objective style where people are looking to decimate towns to, I don't know.
Yeah.
All those battlegrounds tend to work out in interesting ways. So I'm sure it'll be cool. Let's see. I don't know. Okay, so there's going to be a whole series of story-driven DLC packs for StarCraft 2?
Yes.
Featuring Nova?
Yeah, well, the first one we know is featuring Nova.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Did you play StarCraft 2?
I played the first StarCraft 2, the
Wings of Liberty?
Wings of Liberty.
Okay.
I really liked it. Because again, my 2 franchises for Blizzard, Warcraft was never one of my franchises.
Yeah, Diablo and StarCraft.
It was Diablo and StarCraft. More Diablo than StarCraft, but Diablo and StarCraft
Right.
were always the 2. I loved Wings of Liberty. I actually never played Heart of the Swarm. I never got around to buying it.
Yeah.
Though I may soon because I recently got access back to my Blizzard account.
Oh, yeah, because you had a key fob on it.
Yeah, I had a key fob and my iPad lost the thing, and I recently found the text file that had the stuff so I could
Re-authenticate, yeah.
re-authenticate it back, and finally got back into my account. And so I'm thinking about, it's only like $20, so I was like, oh yeah, I could totally buy Heart of the Swarm, play through the campaign on that, because that's another thing. I like StarCraft for the story. I don't like multiplayer matches.
Yep.
Like I'm not. I don't care to play online competitively or anything. So I'm looking forward to playing Heart of the Swarm and then playing what was something of the Void,
yeah.
Legacy of the Void, or
Legacy.
whatever.
I think that sounds about right. Yeah, yeah. It's something that we're definitely going to come back to here on Rage Select.
Yeah.
But it was just like it came out the same week as Tomb Raider and fucking Fallout, so can't right now. But yeah, I mean, this seems like good news. I kind of wish that they would just get off. It seems strange to me that StarCraft 2 is finally all the way out, John.
Yeah.
Like they split it up, but in my brain, it's still one game, and it's
Yeah.
like. It's going to be episodic, except those episodes are going to be 2.5 years apart from each other.
Yeah,
like
and they're really good.
they are. Oh, dude, I'm a big old Kerrigan fanboy, man, and I loved Legacy of the or Heart of the Void or whatever.
Heart of the Swarm.
Heart of the Swarm. I thought that was great. Like
Yeah.
I loved all the squishy Zerg units that you got. I think that it has a really incredible, interesting. There was like a whole. I think it was in the first one where they had that little separate like Zeratul campaign that you could do.
Yeah.
That was really nifty. So I like the and I think that they do really good in their single player. Like when you compare them to I don't know, some of the Command and Conquers and like maybe like Warhammer 40K is one
Yeah.
of the perfect examples. They've put a lot of work into making like each single player map have its own set of rules and kind of like little sub objectives.
And they're not afraid to break the rules that multiplayer sets. Like multiplayer
Yes.
definitely has its own set of rules that the single player campaign does not adhere to.
Absolutely. So I don't know. In some ways, I kind of thought that once the Protoss campaign came out, that StarCraft 2 would be done and they could start working on something. Well, I guess they'd probably just start working on StarCraft 3, or just that team would go over to Overwatch until it's done. But
instead, they're going to be doing these mission packs.
okay, fine. Do we know if these are paid? Are they going to be
That
paid
you will have to
DLC?
buy them, yes.
Okay.
They will be paid for DLC.
Set for launch in spring of 2016. So at least it'll be. I mean, if it's during the spring, a lot of times that's a slow period anyway. It'd be nice to have a reason to go load up a Blizzard game and get all into it during the springtime. Hearthstone is getting a new adventure, League of Explorers. It's already out. I'm not playing Hearthstone.
I am not either.
Couldn't say. I think Grant got into the last one, but I kind of refuse to pay for anything in Hearthstone. So the last adventure
it's
thing.
an addictive game. Like it is very addictive. But yeah,
I downloaded it on my phone. I played 3 online matches. I threw my phone and almost broke it and decided this is not for me. I do not need to be playing online matches against other people.
all right.
And finally, Overwatch is coming to the PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, and it's interesting because there's 2 versions of it on the PC. One is $40 and the other is $60. The $60 version is the same version that's coming to the consoles.
What's the difference between the two?
Well, for the PC version, it has some extra stuff, but it's called the Origins Edition or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is.
Do you know what the extra stuff is?
Like I know there's some stuff for Hearthstone, some stuff for some skin, some skins that are not in the regular version.
Stuff.
A pet for World of Warcraft.
Let's see. Noir skin for Widowmaker if you pre-order. 21 Extraordinary Heroes.
Yeah, you get all the characters
Sonic
unlocked if you buy the game.
Skins. Is the not
the origin
version?
skin? The origin skins are only in the Origin Edition of the game.
I guess what's the downside if you just buy the $40?
Well, if you're
PC
only
version?
basically you
Do you not
don't
get
get
all
the
the characters?
skins. You don't get the no. You get all the characters.
Oh wait, here we go.
You don't get the skins, and you don't get
21 Heroes, iconic environments. Let's see what the difference between these two is.
Again, it's you don't get the skins, and you don't get all the bonus stuff for the other games.
Oh, well, that's sucks. That I want to buy that $40 version for the console because I don't care about skins or digital goodies.
Yeah, well, if you get
part
the
of this
console,
is like for Tracer for Heroes of the Storm, Baby Winston Pet for World of Warcraft, Overwatch card. I think it's supposed to say pack, but it says back. I don't.
But I think that's only the
back.
PC version, though. I think because I don't think any of that stuff is in the console version. Any of that other game stuff.
Well, there isn't a console version of any of these games.
Yeah.
So,
well, with the exception of Diablo.
Oh yeah, Diablo 3 and StarCraft 2 character portraits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But they also announced 3 new heroes.
Yes.
DVA, who is a tank.
Diva.
Oh, okay. Lady, the girl and her big pink robot.
Yeah. Seemed cool.
May, who is like...
she's Captain Cold.
Freeze gun. Yeah, she's Captain Cold from a Pixar movie. Did you know? Okay, John, just briefly. Last week, I went to go film Scam School on Friday.
Yeah.
With Jason and Brian.
Okay.
And Brian and I were sitting there just gushing about Overwatch and about the cinematic trailer. You remember the one that was fucking awesome? And just like, oh, I haven't watched that yet. It was like, what? Why? To go.
And what's awesome is that they're going to be doing character episods. Have you heard about that? They're going to be doing. Think of them in the same vein as the Team Fortress episode stuff.
That's
They're
awesome.
going to be doing little character episodes that are going to be coming out next year
for
all
vignettes?
all the characters in this game. So it's we're going to get more of that stuff.
Cool. And finally, Genji, the robot samurai guy, looks like just DPS.
Who is the brother of another character that's in the game?
The brother of
samurai.
another mother. I think that I look at this stuff and I'm reminded that Blizzard has just fantastic character design.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But all we've been seeing for the last 5 years has been StarCraft, Warcraft, and fucking Diablo.
Yes,
it's really nice to see them go out on a limb and do something different.
Here's the thing: it's an online multiplayer game, which I'm not a huge fan of.
Right.
I'm probably going to buy this on console.
I think it just looks incredible. So
I'm probably going to see if I can hit up some contacts that still work at Blizzard and see if I can get a decent price. Let's see if I can get a good price on like a collector's edition or something.
Yep. So Overwatch, I didn't get a chance to play in the beta.
I did not either.
But all right, so now we've come to the point where we are officially almost late, and we've still got a shitload of stories. So. Boosh. All right, so originally I had the World of Warcraft movie at the end of all the Blizzard news because it made for a nice transition, but then I wouldn't get to rip on it. So guess who else is getting a movie, John?
Oh, shit.
Geralt of Rivia.
Oh, okay, yeah, that guy.
Who were you thinking?
I don't know.
Nicolas Cage. That guy's going to be in a movie? Holy shit.
Well, that's who's playing Geralt.
That's who's... I would pay good money to watch Nicolas Cage be Geralt of Rivia. Oh.
I'm a Witcher, man.
So, yeah, apparently Studio Platige Films is teaming up with Sean Daniels' company, the guy who made The Mummy, to produce a new film based on the life of Geralt of Rivia. And apparently this is going to be based on the books,
Yeah.
the video games.
Of course.
I think that is absolutely fantastic because Geralt is a really good dark fantasy character, and I like the horrible universe he is. The only that he's in. The only thing that they could do wrong would be to be like, this is real dark. Let's lighten it up so that we can make it PG-13 and the kids can go watch it.
Let's make it more like The Mummy.
This needs to be a hard R.
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser is Geralt of Rivia.
Yeah, okay.
All right, I'll still see it. There's also some. It says that they actually are looking to launch this 2017, and that they're going to try to make it into the launch of a series of movies based on The Witcher.
Nice.
So
I'm okay with that.
yeah, I like The Witcher. I didn't finish 3. It's on my list of things to do.
I like the story. Like, I feel like if I actually sat down and read the books, I would probably really like it.
Yeah. As far as I know, it's only like the first 2 that have been translated or something.
As far as like the actual games, I think they're great games. I just feel too overwhelmed
Yeah.
by them. So because of that, I don't play them.
Yep.
But that's not to say they're not good games and they don't have great story, because I'm sure because everything I hear about the story, I'm like, I like that. I like that. I want to read more. I want to know more about that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, good news. Also, guess who else is getting into the movies and TV game, John? Guess. Guess.
Pac-Man.
Well, guess. He's already in the TV game.
Oh.
Pac-Man's Ghostly Adventures, right?
Oh, okay.
I think.
Okay.
Didn't you see Pixels, John?
Oh,
Pac-Man's
okay.
already a movie star.
You got a good point there. Okay.
Okay,
I got another.
I'll give you one more. What else?
Movie. Is this like movie or characters that are going to be a video game, or video game characters are going to be a movie?
Video game characters moving into other mediums. And I'm looking for a company name here. Just throw out one company.
Konami.
You're not even trying. It's Activision, man. Activision's getting into it. Apparently, they are finally, I'm surprised it took them this long, making a Skylanders TV show.
About fucking time.
Skylanders Academy, which I'm sure will be just more further crack cocaine for children.
Yeah.
And then they're also looking at putting together a Call of Duty movie.
Of course.
Which is a little strange. The first is expected to come out in 2018. I'm trying to think, like, if you were going to make a Call of Duty movie.
You get Kevin Spacey.
Duty. You know what's funny is that I played Black Ops. I haven't finished it yet. I think that this year's story is kind of shitty compared to last year's Kevin Spacey's fucking fourth wall explosion.
Who's the actor that's the big actor that's in this
He's
one?
in like Law and Order. He's the guy, the bald
Mitch
guy in Law and Order.
Maloney
I
or
don't know. I don't watch Law and Order. I don't know.
No,
he was in.
I
movie
don't remember
one
his name. He's actually a really good actor. I actually like him a lot.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to the end of it, so maybe it gets like way better after the midway point. And so far, it was just kind of a slog. As still, like, you remember how the last 3 years between Ghost and Advanced Warfare, there have been like a ratcheting down in Call of Duty's numbers. They're back up.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was going to ask you, if you were going to make a Call of Duty movie, and then I got giggled because of Call of Duty movie kind of rhymes. Which Call of Duty would you pick?
Modern Warfare.
The first Modern Warfare?
Yeah, the first Modern Warfare.
I think that's where I would go as well. Maybe Black Ops. First Black Ops would work.
First Black Ops would work as well.
Because it had that whole Resnick is there, Resnick. That would actually be probably a pretty good movie device,
Maloney.
right? Christopher Maloney.
That's who I was thinking of.
My baloney.
So I think you get Kevin Spacey, Christopher Maloney, and any other big-time actor that's ever acted in a Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
Put them on screen and
just go, shooting stuff. Oscar Mike.
Just have them do their thing.
I think Black Ops 1 could really work. Black Ops 1 could really work.
Black Ops 1
could. Number station, 80s paranoia, the whole Reznov is a hallucination thing.
Yeah.
Totally like Fight Club, but with machine guns. That could totally work. But yeah, first Modern Warfare would be great. The only question is, do you kill... I mean, I don't know why I feel the need to say spoilers for the entire Modern Warfare series, but if they feel the need to kill off Soap and then stick with... Or no, kill off the guy that's in the Middle East, right? Who gets nuked, and then stick with Soap with the SAS. I don't know if you could make Modern Warfare... I don't think you could make Modern Warfare a direct translation.
Oh,
because
no, it wouldn't be a direct translation, no. But
that SAS team, they're fucking assholes in that game.
And here's the thing. I don't think it'll be a direct translation of any of the games. I
Right.
think it'll be something completely on its own. It'll probably be something similar to whatever game they're going to be coming out with around that time.
You know
They'll probably work very closely with one of the studios to make sure that the storylines match similarly.
But why bother? The storyline isn't what anybody remembers from Call of Duty. Like, even when you look at Modern Warfare, they bounce into too many places to make that into. Well, I guess if you took all of the machine gun parts and you just squeeze them down to a quick firefight,
Yeah.
you could do the whole globe-trotting kind of intrigue thing. Because you have the Russian
Yeah.
guy with one arm who's the bad guy, the one that they go back in time to shoot.
The
in,
one-armed man, yeah.
Yeah, you could probably do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, next up, just a quick PSA for everybody. The Xbox One update is out that gives you backwards compatibility. John, have you downloaded it yet?
I have not.
Okay.
But I have claimed my backwards compatibility for Fallout 3.
Okay.
But I haven't downloaded the update yet because I haven't actually been really home for longer than 5 minutes.
Okay. I think
Today.
they said there's something like 106 or 160.
108.
108 games? Okay.
A lot of them are most of them are Xbox Live Arcade games.
Oh, gross. That's worthless. Or I guess.
Now a lot of the it's funny because a lot of the big ones that people are expecting,
Yeah.
aren't going to be on there until December.
What about Shadow Complex?
It is. It
Okay.
is on there. Yeah,
That's
Shadow
cool.
Complex is on there.
Do you get any better performance on them than you got on the 360?
I haven't
Not
heard
graphically, but
anything.
just like load times or things
I haven't
like that?
heard anything.
Okay.
Because I know it is essentially emulated. Because I mean, it even does when you launch it. It launches like a Xbox
Little
360
swirl.
dashboard kind
yeah, like
of thing.
The Wii, like the Wii on the Wii U does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know it does that. I've heard that some games might have some jankiness to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I heard Mass Effect.
Really? The one they showed on stage at E3?
Well, the one they showed on stage wasn't that Mass Effect 2?
No, that's Mass Effect 1.
Oh, it was Mass Effect 1?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, apparently I've heard that it has, or at least it had some jankiness at the time.
Yeah.
That was, but I don't know. Like I said, I haven't really looked into it too much, and I haven't had time to play with it, and I don't know how it works. Like I'm interested to actually pop it in and then get a game that I actually own a physical copy of.
Right. Put
Put
that
it in,
see what happens.
And because what they said is that the only reason you need the disc
Is to download it?
you're not even downloading it from the disc. You put the disc in and it goes, oh, okay, you own a physical disc. Hold on, let me download this game from the internet for
Right,
you.
right.
And then it downloads the entire thing from the internet for
Goes
you.
to emuparadise.net. It's like,
Yeah.
hold on, I got to close these pop-up windows real fast.
Well, yeah, so it's like the disc is only to tell the console you own the rights to it.
Right. Well,
It's
that's
like-
kind of how even the Xbox One
But it's
is
like
set
it
up.
doesn't even download the content from the disc. It
Right.
doesn't install anything from the disc. The disc is actually kind of useless.
Yeah. It's a proof of purchase.
Yeah, it's a
your
proof
receipt.
Yeah, so you have to put it in every time you want to play the game. But once
Right.
it's like, okay, this is the disc that's in there. All right, cool. Here, play this.
I wonder, I asked this before. I don't think we got a whole hell of a lot of feedback on it, but I'm really still curious. For those of you who do not own a next-gen console, is that feature like something of a system seller to you? Is that a thing that would make you buy an Xbox One over a PS4 this holiday? If so, I'd love you to chime in and let me know, because
I know they're hoping that it is.
I
know that because I mean they're losing they're not. I say losing the console war. There is no fucking console war. I'm sorry.
Right.
But it's they're getting outsold 2-1.
the PS4 is outselling the Xbox One. And
Yeah, I think that was they claimed $22 billion or $1 million, and Xbox is only at like 12.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's an interesting lesson for this generation about how like Microsoft fucked up by not doing enough market research about the whole always on DRM, always online thing.
They fucked themselves pretty hard.
And even they walked that shit back. They did it immediately, and then they spent the next 6 months before the console came out. It just didn't matter.
I actually talked to someone yesterday.
Yeah.
Who talked about refusing to buy an Xbox One because of all the backwards not the backwards compatible. They're like, yeah, now they're doing this backwards compatible bullshit, but they still have all that DRM shit that no one likes, and that's why their console's not selling. It's like, dude, they reversed all that before the console even came out.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. It's still there. Dude, I own a fucking Xbox One. None of it's there. No, you just blind to it, obviously. I refuse to buy one. It's like,
yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know how. I think it was that, like, as a new console release, that news was so hot that it penetrated out of, like, here, where we are right now, looking at news stories on the internet, into casual Madden, people. and that they never got the memo
that it was undone.
that they
it was
walked
removed.
back. Yeah, and the only thing that I'll say about the Xbox One is that when I got Halo, can you not just get a screen that's like install status 95%, download speed 6 megabits per second, time remaining 22
I don't even need to know
minutes.
the download speed. Just tell me it's like I've downloaded this much. This is how much left I have to download.
No, see, the thing is that it does that. Like when I put Halo in, it started installing, it got to 81%, and it stopped because it was downloading the big ass like 3 gig update. And I had to record that same day. But the thing is that it just wasn't telling me anything outside of that. I was like, can I see what speed you're downloading? Well, you can, John, by going into the network settings and doing a network speed test, which tells you how fast it could be downloading. But I'm like, why? I mean, I know that they're trying to streamline this experience, but like watching a meter sit at 81%, can I not just get like how many
and who
bytes
knows?
are
Maybe
remaining?
this update fixed that.
I hope so. Bring
I
back
don't
the
know.
fucking blades, bitch. Bring back the blades.
Well, now everything, instead of being sideways like it is where you go to tabs, now
Right.
everything's vertical. That's one of the things that I read about is that everything's vertical now.
We should do a 30-minute super awesome video game show just on the Xbox
And
UI
browsing
update.
the Xbox UI, yeah.
All right, so getting into the super fast mode, there was apparently a Nintendo Direct today that was like between when you showed up at my house when we started recording this podcast or something like that.
It was like between the moment of me leaving my job and me showing up here,
Yeah.
which was like an hour.
Which I was recording with Joe right before that, so I'm afraid that I didn't get a chance to sit down and watch it. But we do have a few news stories from it.
Yes.
So apologies if we miss anything largely important that you would like to point out in the comments, whatever. I put these in no discernible order. Apparently, Fire Emblem Fates is going to have some weird releases.
Well, there's apparently, from what I understand, there's 2 versions and a collector's edition. So there's technically 3 versions of the game.
So here's the way that it works. We know that Fire Emblem Fates has 2 storylines in it.
Yes,
Apparently, they're two
different
full
factions.
RPGs, right? In the beginning
Yeah.
of the game, you get to pick which one you want to go towards. There is a $40 version of the game where you only get one side of the story.
Correct.
And if you buy that, you can actually buy the other half for $20 anytime after you buy it. There's the $60 version that has both sides.
So there's, from what I understand, there's the $40 version or the cheaper one, which
Right.
there's 2 different versions of that. One is each faction.
Right.
There is also a third faction,
Well, let's get to that. Let's get to that in a minute.
which if you buy the collector's edition, it comes with both factions and the third faction.
Yes. Which is why I was going to get to that in a minute.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like if you buy the one, you can get that third faction for
Same. I believe it's. I didn't get any
$20.
specific thing, but it's the same amount.
Yeah, it's
so if
the-
you buy the
it's-
$60 thing, you get to the end of the game. You want to see the epilogue part. Is
Yeah.
another $20.
Yeah.
$80 to get you all 3 of them. $40 to get you one, and then you could basically add on the rest for no additional cost when you want to. Or if you want the whole thing, it's $80. I kind of find that to be some scuzzbag bullshit, but I don't know what's in that epilogue. Right?
Yeah.
Is that if you're telling me that if I get to the end of the game and I'm not satisfied until I play the part that you chopped off at the end of it, then you made an $80 video game, right?
Well-
like
What I mean, to me, it sounds like you're playing it's a completely third story that is not, that may be tied to those other 2, but it's not, like it's a third game essentially. Because the way they depict the 2 faction things is each one is its own game that has its own story. Yes, it's telling the story of the same events but from different perspectives.
Right.
And that the third one is a third perspective essentially. At least that's the way I understood it.
Let's see, Birthright and Conquest. See that I guess the way that when I read the story that it was phrased is that the third thing is an epilogue chapter.
Okay.
So if that's wrapping up the story that is
Okay.
done at the end after that,
I read it as a completely. It was a story. It was a thing that did take place after the events of those first 2 but it was from the way I read it is that it does take place after, but it is from a completely third perspective, and it is an entirely third game unto itself.
Okay.
In so
I mean,
much that the other 2 are separate games.
like I don't want to get too high up on my high horse here because I haven't fucking played it.
Yeah,
right. So I don't
obviously.
know jack
Yeah,
shit.
I don't know.
I think that like maybe if it's a thing where it's like you pick your side, $40. That's cheap for that's a $20 off your normal game price, right?
Yeah.
And then you can pick like, well, do I want to do the other side first? Do I want to do the epilogue? I mean, I guess in some ways, DLC for a 20 to 30 hour tactical RPG is less offensive to me than DLC for like the 10-hour campaign in Call of Duty would be.
Yeah.
Because by the time I've played all the way through Fire Emblem, any normal human being is going to play it. It's going to be like a month or two before they're done with it.
Yeah.
So it's like $40 this month, maybe like $20 next month, and like maybe $20, and then I could go back and play it again. Okay,
Yeah.
I could see how that would work.
I mean, like I said, I could be wrong.
It's a
on
little
what I'm
wonky,
saying.
I guess.
Because the description is a little I've read like two different descriptions of what it is, and they're a little bit. They're not the same description.
I just find it so bizarre that they're splitting. That they're no. I don't find it. I don't find it bizarre because if you were to buy it as a $60 game and get both the campaigns, that's what I was expecting to begin with.
Yeah.
I find it odd that they will allow you to just pick one side and buy one side for $40. I think that would really upset. I would just be like, did I pick the wrong one? Do I need to go back and get the other one? I don't know. Anyway.
Well, and also, it's not like this is the first time that Nintendo has released a game as like multiple games. I mean, the Zelda Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons games were, and then I think there was some third one that got canceled that was something Oracle of whatever games that were all Zelda games that all connected, but they were multiple games. I mean, look at the Pokemon games.
Oh, yeah.
And look at the Pokemon games. There's Pokemon whatever. They're not. This is not anything new.
Okay. Yeah, no, I gotcha. Star Fox Zero has a release date and a new trailer that actually says at the beginning that it contains no actual
Gameplay
game footage.
And probably looks 10 times better than the actual in-game footage.
Yeah. April 22nd, 2016 is when you can expect some R-Wing action. So, hey, man, I'm looking forward to it. That's
I am.
The week after my birthday. It'll be
like Star
summertime,
Fox.
Springtime. Great. This trailer is, just showing off kind of what we already know. It's, a few different R-Wing versions. And
yeah, I feel like this trailer is just like, okay, for any of you who weren't paying attention to the other stuff that we already showed,
right.
Here's everything in one small trailer.
Right.
And it doesn't tell you any new information if you've actually been following this game that was supposed to be released next month.
Yep.
That got pushed back to next year.
Don't let too much of the salt in, John.
It's not. There's no. I'm just stating the facts.
Still getting Xenoblade Chronicles. There was another story about how you can, like, starting today or something, you can download like a 4 gig like pre-install for Xenoblade Chronicles, so that when you get it, you can just pop it in and go. And like, all right,
cool.
So they're putting the lady version of Link into Hyrule Warriors Legends on the 3DS.
Yes.
Coming out March of next year. I honestly already thought that shit was out, but named Linkle. She's going to have dual-wield crossbows and spin kicks and other stuff. I'm sure there will be parts of the internet that are very upset.
Why?
Because I think that a lot, like this Lady Link stuff, really pisses people off, and I don't know why.
I don't understand.
Some dude went in and like ROM hacked the original Legend of Zelda to make the sprite look like a lady, and for his little girl to play or something, and then that became a story on the internet. People were just like, "Fucking, Zelda's a guy, man." I'm just like, he's pansexual mute, man.
Zelda's a guy.
Yeah,
when did Zelda become a guy?
Link is a guy. Link is a guy.
Man, you just blew my mind for a moment there. I was like, holy shit.
Yep.
You find out that Zelda has a penis?
Yes. You obviously didn't get the special. You didn't buy the $20 DLC for.
It's apparently the
Zelda
exact
2.
opposite effect of Metroid.
Right. You're like, whoa. Anyway, there's one screenshot here. I didn't see any more of it. Didn't watch it.
I saw like an art, the art rendering of it or
fine.
anything. Yeah.
I don't have any problem with that. There's also like Toon Link and King of Hyrule and all kinds of crazy other shit in Hyrule Warriors. So who the fuck cares? Speaking of Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess HD is hitting early next year. Great. I love it. I will play that.
Cool.
I like Twilight Princess quite a bit. So, did you play Twilight Princess?
I did. It was the first game I bought for my Wii U. Or not the Wii U, Wii.
Or your Wii?
For my Wii.
I played
Wii.
on the GameCube. Which is apparently backwards.
Well, GameCube is actually the correct way because it was originally designed for GameCube. And then because with the Wiimote, most people are right-handed and Link is left-handed. So that it wasn't confusing, they mirrored the entire world and so that Link would be left or right-handed so that right-handed people can play normally for the Wii.
Fair enough.
because it used the Wiimote.
They also said there's a solid release date for the new Legend of Zelda next year.
Yeah, I didn't actually read it, but
I
yeah,
didn't
apparently there's a solid release date for it, which I'm just like, just release it and I'll buy it.
Yep.
Or
All right.
Jeff will buy it and give it to me.
Well, speaking of remakes of classic games and HD versions and stuff like that, so you were aware that briefly on Steam not too long ago there was a PC enhanced edition of the original System Shock that came out.
We played a little.
Played System Shock 2.
We played System Shock 2
on Sunday streaming for some reason.
Yeah, but I remember there was some team trying to do it like unofficially.
No, this is an official release.
Oh, okay.
It's on Steam. You can buy it. It's like the enhanced edition. It's not exactly HD, but it's formatted to work better on modern PCs by this team called Night Dive. Well, apparently they got the rights to the System Shock franchise when they did this. And apparently they're the ones who put out the PC version of System Shock 2 a while back. This company, I tried to go find out what Night Dive does. Night Dive has never made a game. What they do is they buy Seventh Guest, and then they make it work on modern PCs, and they put it on Steam. They're the ones clogging up your Steam library with old classic games, which in some ways is fine. But they now have the actual rights to the System Shock franchise, and they're talking about both remaking System Shock 1 and making a System Shock 3.
Oh.
Which, for a game company that hasn't actually done... I looked at their Wikipedia page, I looked at their website, I don't think they've ever actually released a game. They've ever made a game, right?
Yeah.
They've worked on these games, but they've never actually
Well, I could
made
see
one.
them if they were remaking System Shock 1 from scratch.
Yep.
That would give because they already have the blueprint for it, so it's just a matter of remaking it.
Sure.
And once they get that under their belt, they can go, okay, well, this is how let's try to use that knowledge to then make System Shock 3.
I hope so. I mean, I just hope that if they do it, I never finished System Shock 2, so I don't know what actually happens at the end of it, but I hope they don't, Shodan's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
So I hope they don't fuck her up. Speaking of games that are going to be getting, things that are going to be getting a sequel that is the number 3, my coffee's wearing off, I'm sorry. Apparently that Darksiders 2 remaster was just being used as a way to gauge interest in whether or not people would be interested in Darksiders 3.
Someone actually posted about this in the comment section of our video.
Yep. So for the love of God, go buy Darksiders 2. I mean, Joey Mad's not going to be on the art team, but I'm hoping that who is it? Nordic Games, has the creativity to make Darksiders 3. That
and
is
I'm
not
pretty sure that
garbage.
They were nice enough to give Airship Games some stuff for Kickstarter for their
Battle Chasers
thing.
Yep.
So it's obvious they're on good terms with Joe Mad, and I'm sure that if they said, "Hey, can you come help us out or come whatever," that if he had the time, if he wasn't so deep involved in Battle Chasers, that he would be like, "All right, sure."
I just really hope that they maintain the Darksiders, how they change up the way the games play.
Yeah.
Right? That the third one isn't just we've kind of mixed the first
elements
one
of
and the
Darksiders
second
1
one.
and 2.
Yeah,
No,
what I was saying when we did that video, I would love it if the next one with the gun person was just a straight up first person shooter.
Yeah.
It was maybe like a Metroid Prime-esque first person shooter, just be completely different. And then the fourth one's tower defense, or I don't know. So, yeah, I really hope that this comes together, and I hope that it's good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Also, speaking of HD remakes and such, apparently Blizzard is hiring. I should put this back in the Blizzard news, but apparently they're hiring. They've got some job listings that looks like they're probably going to be bringing StarCraft, Warcraft 3, and Diablo 2 up to spec to run on current machines.
Yeah, because they can't run on current machines.
Yeah. So they're currently hiring. Well, this is a few days old, so I don't know if they still are. But, I don't have any... I think whenever I see this a lot of times, I have no problem with companies doing this as long as... If all they're doing is trying to make sure that their old games are still playable on modern systems, it's why that Night Dive company, they aren't offensive to me or anything.
Yeah.
They're just... I'm a little worried about them taking on a franchise before they make a game. But companies keeping their shit able to run on current systems is a good thing.
What was it? Blizzard did a thing where you could play Blackthorn.
Yeah.
On modern PCs. I was totally on board with that.
Yeah.
So having being able to go back and play these older games, fuck yeah.
Yep. All right, 3 more and then we're done. First up, Bloodborne's getting a patch introducing a new hunter group called the League.
Oh.
Yep, they got this bucket-headed guy that is like a dapper bucket man that is going to be a faction bound to... the League is a faction of hunters bound together by oath and led by a rather dapper bucket-wearing figurehead. So you can get access to the League's cane weapon and compete in leaderboards. I think that's great. I don't think there are enough factions in Bloodborne. So this is going to be happening pre... the DLC, the Hunter something, whatever. And I saw this story last week and immediately went out and was like, ooh, when is it live? And it's like, not yet. So, boo. So that's cool. I tell you what's not cool, but completely understandable. Final Fantasy XI is going away.
What?
Yeah. Not that this is really should be a surprise to anybody.
Okay, so I should downgrade my what? To like a
okay. I only
Okay.
say that I only reporting on this because I don't know if you guys know this, but I used to be fucking like full on super deep into Final Fantasy XI on the PC.
I was not aware of this.
Yeah, I spent hours and hours on that game, and then I quit right before it got fun. But yep, after 14 years, motherfucker, this was that PlayStation 2. Put a hard drive in your PlayStation 2. This shit has lasted all the way through from the beginning to the end of the PlayStation 3's era. Final Fantasy XI is going out with the release of their final chapter, Rhapsodies of Vanadiel, I forget how to say it. So apparently, if you've ever had an account, you could log back in and play the final chapter for free.
Oh, nice.
And
that's actually cool.
They've got deep discounts on the expansions and add-on contents. The PC version is going to be, the servers for the PC version are going to be left on, but no more updates.
Oh, okay. That could be interesting.
The PS2 and 360 versions are going to be shut off in March. So if you're at all interested in this, it might be worthwhile to go check and see just how cheap. Let's see. There's a link here in my article. How cheap the discounts for Final Fantasy XI and all the stuff are. Ultimate Secret Collector's Edition.
Less than $10.
$9.99. If that's all of the content, and you have ever had an idea about playing this game, you might just go spend $10 and like go play it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've like really streamlined it, but it was a nightmare to play.
Yeah.
It's really complicated. It's super complex and very slow, but it's definitely a Final Fantasy game. And last but not least, so apparently, John, there is a video game history, exhibit that's been roaming from museum to museum around the country.
Okay.
And it has finally gotten a permanent home.
Awesome.
And it's north of Dallas.
We should go visit.
Fuck Dallas. Sorry.
It's north of Dallas,
This
though.
is the second week in a row I've been bitching about Dallas.
It's north of Dallas,
Yep.
though.
This is at the Frisco Discovery Center in Frisco, Texas. I've never heard of Frisco, Texas before.
I've heard of it.
Yeah?
I just never been there.
So this article says visitors will be treated to more than 20 installations. Among them are the Pixel Dreams 1980s style arcade filled with classic cabinets. Physical console timeline provides a visual representation of the evolution of video game consoles. More unique attractions include a 15-foot working Pong console and even an exhibit of Gearbox founder Randy Pitchford's actual office. Oh wait, no, this is not done. This is not the Randy Pitchford Memorial thing. I'm going to take Jason up there and have him smear poop.
Well, I was gonna say it's like we need to get a group. You, Jason, me, Grant, something or whatever.
Yeah.
Get a video camera. Let's go videotape this shit for the website.
Why? My brain is now just putting together these words that I just said. An exhibit of Gearbox founder Randy Pitchford's actual office.
Yes.
They recreated Randy Pitchford's office in the video game museum.
Yes.
Who fucking cares? Like, I haven't been sitting around for the last 10 years like going, man, I wonder what kind of coffee cup Randy Pitchford has. Like, if it was like the lab if it was a replication of the garage where they put together the first Pong machine, well, that'd be kind of interesting, right? Or if it was like the first video arcade that was ever invented in fucking blah, blah, blah. That's great. If it was like a life-size walk through the inside of a console cabinet and see all the things in there, that would be cool. A replica of Randy Pitchford's office is not something to pay $5 to go see. I mean, am I missing something here? Like,
I don't know.
Can you think? I mean, unless
It was probably, given the fact that they're right outside of Dallas, it was probably the only video gaming like celebrity that they could get anything for. And Randy Pitchford was like, you know what? I need a new office. So do
Yeah.
you just want my old office and you can just put it as an exhibit and
Like-
I'll donate it to you and then I'll just go go buy a new office.
Does this?
'Cause-
I mean, like, do I not know something? Is this something that's been an infamous underground legend that it's like some kind of weird sex dungeon? It turns out Randy Pitchford's office has been a BDSM sex dungeon the entire time, and like at this one point they've got like the curtain closed, and like, and over here a replica. I know you guys all came to see this. All right. Okay, cover your children's eyes of Randy Pitchford's office, and it's just like a wax sculpture of Randy Pitchford bending fucking Don Matrick over his desk or something. Or, I don't know why. Anyway, we got to take a break. I gotta pick out some emails to read.
he's got to get that image out of his head
I
that
gotta
he just created.
I gotta go drink some bleach. Mail@rageselect.com is the email address. Join us back here momentarily when we answer your questions about pretty much all of the things. Stay tuned.
There's a video of a cat dancing to that.
Dance a cat.
That's right. I watch cat videos sometimes.
Do you?
Sometimes.
Is that what you do?
Yeah. No.
Can you say it like Newt from Aliens? I watch cat videos sometimes.
No.
Sometimes. That's right. I just did it for you. Welcome back, folks, to the podcast. Hope you enjoyed John's candid admission of watching cat videos. I've never heard of such a thing before.
Never?
It's fucking insane.
Wow.
Cats are for garbage.
I mean, I prefer watching dog videos.
Right.
But, you know,
my favorite cat video
cute
is
dogs
actually
are a lot better than cats.
my favorite
so.
cat video has actually been taken off the internet.
Oh,
John.
yeah?
It was the Kitty is a Bad Mystic. Did you ever see that?
No.
It was just this. Have you ever seen the Ultimate Dog Tease video where it's like a dog and then they're like doing like voiceover for it?
Yeah.
It was the same thing except it was this little cat outside and it was really cool. But apparently the person whose cat it was didn't like it being on the internet. They took it off, and strangely enough, it's relatively difficult to find anymore. So anyway, it's time for your questions about cats and dogs
Or not.
living together.
About cats and dogs.
Mass hysteria here on the Rage Select podcast. Mail at rageselect.com is the email address. I'm talking right to my dog now.
I'm massaging your dog's head.
And you're massaging his head. He got a big yawn. All right, so our first question comes in from Bo the Buddha, who says, Dear Infernal Rage Lords, once again I have collected the courage to seek your sage wisdom. So here's my question. Which beloved game franchise do you think is being most neglected by its developer? By that I mean not mentioning it in interviews or revealing anything during expos and cons, also just not showing interest in it. For me, it has to be Dead Space. After the third game in the series, Visceral Games has neglected this amazing horror gem from resurfacing. And yes, Konami is also an obvious choice, but they are technically still holding on to their best-selling franchises, even if they are warping them into grotesque pachinko husks. I don't really count that, Bo the Buddha, but whatever. And if you have some time, here's a bonus question. What is the most underrated game or movie that deserves cult status? Thanks for answering. Remain ever so rageful and omnipotent from your friendly Balkan resident, Bo the Buddha. Let's see. Franchises that are being woefully overlooked. There are a lot of them.
Yeah.
Now, just to answer his question, though, real briefly, what's Visceral hasn't exactly been...
they since Dead Space 3, they did Battlefield Hardline.
Is that what? Okay. Oh, yeah. They did the single player campaign for Battlefield Hardline.
They did Battlefield Hardline.
Yeah.
That was what that's the reason they've had to ignore Dead Space is because, but also apparently from what I understand, due to how Dead Space 3 performed financially,
Right.
EA has been like, well, fuck this game franchise because it's apparent it's dead.
Yeah. EA is pretty cutthroat about that sort of stuff. So it's the sort of thing that if a franchise does not perform very well, they are more than happy to just let it go.
So it's, I don't blame Visceral for that. I blame EA, and there's always the possibility it could come back, but Visceral's been busy.
Yeah.
So,
But as far as game franchises that have been ignored, two come to mind to me relatively that are kind of connected.
Okay.
I think that Castlevania really needs some love and attention. I know that Lords of Shadow 2 kind of just came and went, like just didn't.
Garbage.
I didn't really play it, so I didn't. I
It was
really know,
terrible.
but was it?
Yeah,
was it really that bad?
It was abysmal.
But like Castlevania has tons of games and a lineage
Yeah.
and a storyline, and like, yeah, man, like make some side scrolling. I'm glad that Ikaragi is out there doing his Kickstarter thing, but
Yeah.
is that Ikaragi?
Yeah.
I think of that. Okay.
Yeah.
and also
Iggyvania.
yeah, yep. Also, Metroid in the same light as it's been. I mean, Metroid Prime 3. No,
You're not excited for Metroid, whatever the fuck it's called,
Oh,
for
yeah,
with Blast Ball?
no, I'm not.
That's
No,
not
John.
actually a Metroid game at all. It
Yes.
just takes place in the universe, sort of.
That is correct. No, I would like both of those to get some love and attention. What do you think? Anything come to mind for you?
I felt like there was something, that there was a franchise that I would have liked to have seen something, but for the life of me, I can't think of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for the life of me, I can't even think of like any like my mind as soon as the question is asked is like, "Welp, I'm gonna forget all of that information."
I mean, I think there's a lot of them out there. I think
Yeah.
that the Prototype series could stand another entry, especially
Yeah.
on next gen consoles like the
yeah,
Prototype
I mean
3.
they did do the HD re-releases for them that
Yep.
apparently ran terribly.
Did they? I never.
Yeah, I heard that they ran. Apparently, I've never played them. I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
play them, but I heard that didn't run very well.
Yeah. There's another one that I was just thinking of that's kind of jumped out of my brain.
You know, I really feel like Blizzard is. Since we were talking about Blizzard earlier, they're really they're ignoring their Lost Vikings. Mm-hmm. That we need some more Lost Vikings.
They're in Heroes of the Storm.
No.
John.
They need their own game.
They need their own
Jeff.
game.
They need their own game. Either that or Blackthorn. One of those two.
Rock and Roll Racing.
Yes.
When are we going to get a new Rock and Roll Racing?
That's all I'm asking.
Come on, Blizzard. I mean, the list is smaller nowadays than it used to be.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I think that, I know that there is a new Gears coming out, but I feel like Microsoft hasn't been really pushing Gears 4 much.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen way more about like Quantum Break and Halo and stuff, but
Yeah.
Gears is a relatively big franchise, man. I mean, I'm trying to think of other games that I really like that.
Yeah. There's a part of me that wanted to say Alan Wake, but that they come out like that company while they're making Quantum Break.
Right.
They're like, yeah, no, we'd love to make an Alan Wake sequel, but it's not in the cards, so we're
Remedy.
moving on to this other game. But we want to go back to it at some point. But Quantum Break for right now.
I'll say it's been 2 years. I'm still waiting to hear about Saints Row 5, bitch, because 3 and 4 were
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I could
I'll
use
agree
me
with
some
that.
Saints Row 5.
Gat Out of Hell was a little bit underwhelming.
Yeah. There's plenty of stuff out there. What was the one? God, I was just thinking of another one. Anyway. Yeah, I think there's plenty of game franchises that are ignored. Oh, Thief. I was thinking we had that new Thief that was like, what, last year, the year before, or something like that?
Yeah, it was.
It was okay, but
Kinda boring.
I really would have much rather had more Thief.
You know what game I feel like is getting ignored by
What's
their
that?
developer? And I think everyone on the internet is going to agree with me here.
Uh-huh.
Half-Life.
That crossed my mind, but it was too.
I decided to go the low-hanging fruit.
Okay, you know what? I'll see your Half-Life, and I'll raise you Portal, because fucking where's Portal 3?
Yeah,
Portal
true.
1 and 2 are such
True.
amazing games, and it's been like how long has it been since Portal 2 came out? There hasn't been. That was on the PlayStation 3, 2011.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years. Like, come on, dude, make a new Portal game.
And when are we going to get a new Duke Nukem?
Yeah. Dude, I think that's legit. I think that, Gearbox is so concentrating on putting out, you were just telling me, yet another edition of, Borderlands, the Christmas edition.
Yeah, the Handsome Jack collection, the Gentleman Claptrap in a box edition.
Yeah.
Where you get an actual Gentleman Claptrap. I don't know if it's the remote control Claptrap or if it's a statue.
Yeah.
But either way, it's Gentleman Claptrap with a mustache and monocle and a top hat.
I think that there's a lot of LucasArts properties, actually, now that I think about it, that also could use, where's Full Throttle 2, man? Or Grim Fandango 2? Or fucking new Monkey Island game. Like, it's been, 2-3 years since the Telltale Monkey Island? Hell, it's been 2 or 3 years since the episodic Sam & Max stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And I think all those are very viable properties. It doesn't seem like it would be ridiculously hard to do. But there's just a million of them out there. It just seems like recently everything's got to be... companies are not really interested in releasing anything that isn't, the best-selling thing they've ever put out, right? We skipped over the NPD numbers on the news.
Yeah.
Rock Band 4 came in at 10. Guitar Hero was not on there. Or wait, Guitar Hero came out in October, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Or Rocktober.
Yeah, Rocktober.
Yeah, Uncharted Collection was on there.
Which I'm really happy Rock Band 4 has actually fixed a lot of its licensing issues, and I've been able to download more tracks.
Oh, really?
Still not everything.
Yeah.
But at least everything that's on the store right now.
Oh.
Like all the stuff that they lost licenses to that they claimed you would get through backwards compatibility if you purchased it previously.
Right.
That stuff is still not available.
Okay.
But I was able to download
more than it was.
Yeah, I'm up to like 900 plus tracks on my Rock Band.
Jesus, John. If I could just get you to care about Dark Souls the way you care about Rock Band.
I like to rock out, Jeff.
You can rock out and you can get the channelers thing, and then you do a little dance with the channeler staff and rock out.
I mean, I know people have beaten Dark Souls 2 with a Rock Band controller, but still,
Yeah.
I need to rock out.
Okay. I'm not stopping you.
All right.
You rock out all you want, buddy.
I will.
Okay, good. All right, this next one comes in from our friend Lazy Krogan, who says, "Hello, Jeff and John. This question is for Jeff, but feel free to share your thoughts as well, John."
You damn right I will.
Jeff, in past videos, you've expressed your feelings on how much you hate the advertising industry. In fact, you said this is why you won't watch the TV show Mad Men. Can you go into detail about why you hate advertising? Long-time fan.
Show us on the doll where advertising
Lazy
touched you.
Krogan. Right here in the brains.
Oh,
right in the
okay.
brain part. No, I've gone over this a few times before, but hey, man, I don't mind ripping on advertising.
Watch the movie Branded, and it's so fucking terrible you'll understand.
Yeah, actually, I hate advertising because the whole job of advertising is to make you want stuff for stupid reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, even Mad Men, the show is about the rise of the type of advertising that I fucking despise, because they're like, well, we're not just going to tell you about how delicious our orange juice is. We're going to show you an idyllic family having a breakfast with orange juice, and then your stupid brain is going to be like, if I buy Tropicana, maybe I'll have a family like that.
Instead of being sad and alone.
That's
as
right.
You always will be.
Yes.
Sad and always alone.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And if you don't believe me, go look at any ad for liquor that's come out in the last 4 years. It's just hot chicks like drinking liquor, or hot dudes getting ladies by picking up. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, like,
Carl's Jr. has just been nothing but hot chicks eating Carl's Jr.
and you know that they don't actually eat the Carl's Jr.
No one eats.
No one who looks like that eats at Carl's Jr. Human beings don't. It's just
The
sex
only time
duds.
people go to Carl's Jr. is when they go, I'm hungry enough that I can eat Arby's, but instead I'm going to have Carl's Jr.
That's right. They have a hamburger with hot dogs and potato chips on it. That is horrible.
So it's like Carl's Jr. is like a step up above an Arby's.
No,
So-
dude, I'd rather be at Arby's. Yeah, I know what's on Arby's. It's just the fucking vagina meat is all that's on. It's just like 6 pounds of vagina meat and a bunch of melted cheese. That's what a Big Montana is. It's named after Carlene Montana from Idaho. Strangely enough, no. But I and the thing about it is that, you know, I've
I
had this
thought you were going to go a different way with that, by the way.
conversation with a bunch of different people about advertising. Like, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They've got psychologists. They've got. I mean, go look at.
They knew exactly what they were doing when they were getting a cartoon character to hawk cigarettes.
Yes, exactly.
Get them while they're young.
Yep. It's all like. Some of this is from the Crack Podcast. Some of it's from a few books that I've read. But like, food is my big thing, right? And
Yeah.
I don't go into it anymore because I've learned that you can't talk to people about food because they're just like, "I will kill you with this screwdriver." And I'm like, "Where did you even get that?" That like, people don't just make, like, people aren't like, "Oh man, these cookies are great. You know what? We should like go to Nabisco and see if we can get a deal to get these cookies, and then everybody can eat these cookies. They're brand new type that's like peanut butter raisin, right? And like, it doesn't sound good, but man, when you mash the raisins up, it's great." But that's not what they do. They've got like labs full of people that are like measuring mouthfeel and crunch and like the amount of taste that's in a thing, and designing that shit in a way to hook you, and then selling it to you with shit that is so divorced from reality. It just goes back to that Batman shit, man. I hate the idea that ads are showing you pictures of hot women, and then your stupid brain is like, well, maybe if I eat at Carl's Jr., there'll be a woman in a bikini there eating on an aircraft carrier, eating a hamburger. Like,
While I'm playing Call of Duty.
while I'm playing Call of Duty.
Because they've done a crossover with Call of Duty now.
Have they?
Yeah, there's a box thing, and there's the hot chick from the Carl's Jr. ads is playing Call of Duty, and she brings in like it's like it's a supply. It's called the supply drop box, and it has like codes for Call of Duty.
Does it? Does the commercial end with like some Doritos ninja coming in and stabbing that girl and be like,
No.
Call of Duty's our turf, bitch.
No,
But
no.
that's why I hate advertising, is because it's all designed. It's based on emotional manipulation and trickery.
Yeah.
And for a long time, people that I know, and whenever I talk about this, because this was one of my pet peeves when I was in my 20s, when I was reading about this stuff. And you meet a lot of people who are just like, well, advertising doesn't affect me. You just have to not let it affect you. It does affect you.
Oh yeah, of course it does.
It's designed to affect you. You can't, it's you can say that like you're not going to eat, you're not going to watch an ad for Taco Bell and then just turn into like some kind of ravening meth addict who has to get to Taco Bell immediately.
Yeah.
But you'll probably be more inclined to go to Taco Bell. Hell, the amount on this show that I talk about Taco Bell
Yes.
probably means that people who watch and listen to this show, if you were to do a survey, have a higher chance of going to Taco Bell.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Since I've started doing stuff with you on this website,
Yes.
I have probably my percentage of Taco Bell eating has probably gone up. Now, mind you, I live right down the street from a Taco Bell.
yeah.
Taco
Two,
Bell is
actually.
probably outside of Chipotle.
Right.
Taco Bell is probably the closest restaurant to me.
Yes.
Well, that and a McDonald's, but I will never eat at McDonald's. I've sworn off McDonald's forever.
Why? But they're loving it. Haven't you seen the commercial?
They can go fuck themselves.
Next week, Lazy Krogan is like, why does John hate McDonald's so
I just don't like their food. I think it's
Well, yeah,
nasty.
it's made out of cardboard. Tastes like garbage.
But it's like usually my choice is like if I don't want to go far, like Chipotle or Taco Bell.
Right.
I'm gonna go Chipotle, obviously.
Right.
But if it's late at night,
Right.
and Chipotle is closed,
Fourth meal, bitch.
before the site, I would actually be like, well, I don't really want to drive very far. Fuck it, I'll go to Wendy's or I'll go to this other place. It's a little bit further of a drive away.
Right.
But it's like I don't know what it is, but since being on the site, it's like yeah, I could do Taco Bell. I guess I could do it. I mean, it's gotta be really late at night. I gotta really not want to drive far, but
Right.
yeah, I'll do it. Why not?
So yeah, that's the way this shit works. I mean, like honestly, the whole point of advertising is that if you don't if you don't ever go to Taco Bell and you listen to Rage Select all the time, if it has no effect on you, you should literally never have any desire to go to Taco Bell and get the whatever the thing is, right? But you probably do just because you've heard somebody talking favorably about Taco Bell. So that's why I hate advertising, because it's mental manipulation. I don't enjoy it. And the problem is not necessarily so much even that it exists, it's just that it's fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. And I mean, even I was thinking about this question when I pulled it up, and even when we were talking about how awesome those trailers were for those Blizzard games, those are just advertisements, right? They're just like the expansion of World of Warcraft doesn't look anything like that cinematic trailer.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyway, I hope that's enough for you, Lazy Croak, and everybody in the comments can say how immune to advertising they are. You're full of shit. You're not immune to it. It's been designed.
I'm
over
immune to it as I drink my Dr. Pepper.
40
and
years
look
worth
at my
of-
Android phone and then
Yep.
put on my WWE hoodie while wearing a WWE t-shirt.
Man, go look at Apple. It's all advertising.
Yeah.
Like half
Oh,
of
it
the
is.
reason people buy Apple is because they project this certain image.
Yeah.
Like they weren't doing that for a long time. They had financial trouble, right?
I'll
And then-
admit there are my Apple laptop I bought for a specific reason.
Right.
My iPad I bought because I bought into the advertising.
Right.
And I actually like it. It's a good product.
Sure.
I've actually used other tablets that do better.
Yeah.
Or are just as equivalent or just as good.
Yeah.
I need to buy I've decided I need to buy a new tablet.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm going to stay with Apple is because I got a bunch of apps
Right.
that I don't want to have to go rebuy or anything like that.
Right.
Or I don't want to lose access to.
Yeah.
But because they got me with that initial tablet purchase
Hell.
with advertising, locked in forever.
You remember when the iPod came out?
Yeah.
And then like people started like, okay, here's a little known.
Well,
here's
the
a little-
iPod is the thing that turned Apple around.
I would argue about the candy colored iMacs at the very beginning.
True.
After the
That was-
initial.
I
thing,
think
but
the iPod is the thing though that like cinched it.
I think so too. But you remember, like, do you remember before the iPod? What color were earbuds that you put in your ear? Black.
Black.
That's
yeah.
what everybody sold. They were all
Yeah.
black. They were black.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe you get like a sport one that's like a slightly different color. But they were
Or
all,
sometimes you'd get other colors, but you could if you went out of your way to buy them.
right.
But if
they
you were
weren't,
just
like, if you went to the store, they would all be pretty much black.
yeah, no, I agree with you. Well, they
then-
would also be giant headphones. They wouldn't be like earbuds.
Well, I don't know. The earbud thing, I always think about, like, I got a pair of those with my Game Boy.
Okay,
And I
yeah.
used those for a long time. It's
Yeah.
like a little red and blue. But after the iPod, fucking the first you had the white ones, and you could buy knockoff white ones everywhere, and it was kind of like a status symbol almost. And now fucking headphones come with skull candy and like all the goddamn colors of the rainbow. Anyway, sorry, we're getting off topic here. Our next question comes in from Mark, and Mark says, "Dear sufferers of Rajo Hall." Oh, okay. I thought it was an exclamation point at first, so I thought it said, "Dear sufferers of Rajo-Ho."
But it's Rage Holla.
Rage-a-Hall.
A Rage Hall.
Last week, you and Nick briefly mentioned the new Star Trek series coming back and how it is now behind CBS's network paywall. This surprised me at the time, as I had no idea CBS had their own subscription service, though in retrospect, it probably shouldn't have. My question is over the viability of this new income model. It seems networks are banking on brand loyalty that doesn't even exist. Even if it did, that demographic is so small now, it couldn't possibly be profitable. With interest in TV dying amongst those under 30, why are they betting so much on this? As a follow-up question, what do you think is the next business model for TV? Sorry about the economics question when you're more concerned with shooting ghouls in the kneecaps. Praise the dog, Mark. Don't mention ghouls to me, Mark. I just want to go shoot some ghouls. Before we continue with this question, speaking of ghouls, can I say how disappointed I am in Bethesda that they didn't fucking fix the melee combat in Fallout 4?
Yeah.
That it's just one big blob of vats, that it's not like punch them in the face. Range combat doesn't even have eyes for most of the enemies. Like there's a big boss that had like antenna that I could shoot at, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry. Do we think that this will be a profitable model for NBC or CBS?
I don't know. I know that a lot of companies are trying to be on some type of internet presence, and if they don't want to agree to deals such as for companies like Hulu or even Netflix,
right?
The only option they have is to create their own thing.
Yeah.
Some are put their videos online on their website for free with ads. Some want to do a subscription service like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Fox
already has one of those, right? Where
it's Hulu.
But isn't there, like on the Xbox One, I remember there being like Fox Access that you, if you buy the cable, you get a password that you could put in, or something like that.
Your cable provider, if you enter something in with your cable provider, like a password.
I mean, HBO Go still has me pick a cable provider before I can log in.
But the thing is that a lot of them, like Fox owns Hulu, they own a very large portion of that. That's why all of Fox's TV shows never expire on Hulu. Like they will always be on Hulu and whatever,
right?
Because they own a large portion of that, and they get a large portion of that.
Sure.
And so they're all trying to create these business models where they get the most money out of it, because, like you said, he said, TV's dying.
Yeah.
People are cutting cable. Yep. They're trying to cut cable and get the shows online however they can.
Right.
And that has the network scared shitless.
As well it should.
And so right now they're all going to create their own subscription services, because how else are they going to get your money?
Yeah.
If you're not buying the cable package, well, then you have to pay for something else.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're not going to have the money to make the shows that you want to make. And that's their reasoning behind it.
Right. It's mostly just I guess it's mostly, I have very little sympathy for these companies because they've spent the last 40 years, 50 years just being the biggest dicks humanly possible.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I would indict the entire cable industry just for the number of fucking commercials on a movie on the USA Network, because back when that shit, I had cable, or my parents would have cable, and I'd go up to their place and be like, oh, look, fucking Zoolander's on, right? And then at the back half, it's like every 10 minutes, there's a 5-minute commercial break, and I'm just like, oh, fuck you, USA. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. No. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that they're losing money, so they're trying to find ways to make new money. Yep. And since Hulu's successful and other services like the WWE Network and other things seem to be successful after a long period of time, they're like, okay, well, we need to get on that same thing.
Right.
So let's do the HBO Go model. Let's do the WWE Network model. Let's do the Hulu model. Let's get, if we don't want to give Fox some of our money, or give these other companies that own Hulu, some of the revenue from our shows, and we want to get 100% of it, their only choice is to make something themselves.
Right. Right.
And that's where it's going to go.
I just don't, like last week when we looked at CBS, and I looked at a list of all the shows that were on CBS, and then thought, would I pay $7 a month to get access to these shows? Not even remotely. Now, I might, see, that's the thing about HBO, right? HBO reel you in, for $10 a month with Game of Thrones. But the thing is that HBO's got a dynamite lineup.
It does, yeah.
Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, and then you go back and watch all The Wire. They also have just straight up movies. They're basically like what Netflix used to be before everybody started pulling their content off of Netflix to sell it to you through Amazon or Hulu.
Oh yeah,
or
no,
whatever.
definitely. Yeah, and that's why HBO Go is totally worth it.
Yeah.
And I'm a wrestling fan, so I also, because I do subscribe to it, WWE Network is great because you're getting all that wrestling content in one place.
Sure.
And they even have their own programs that are not wrestling-centric programs on the network.
Okay.
That are stuff that the WWE has made.
Yeah. Like Golden Girls?
No.
No?
WWE wasn't involved with Golden Girls.
What?
They have nothing to do with Blanche Dubois.
Oh, man.
But no, they have they have a thing called Table for Three, which is kind of a mock that's very similar to Jon Favreau's Table for Five.
Okay.
Except it involves three wrestlers that's going on right now. That's really excellent.
Okay.
They have interview shows where there's a host that interviews different celebrities that are not in wrestling. There's a show called Culture Shock where one of the wrestlers, every time they travel to a city, he goes through the city and kind of learns that city. Goes through like showing the interesting culture that's in that city.
Yeah.
Like things that are interesting that people need to look at, or events that are happening that are really cool.
Okay.
So there's things that are not just, they are wrestling related,
Right.
but they're not focused 100% on wrestling.
Okay.
It's like I said, it's providing content that is worth it in the long run if you're a wrestling fan. HBO Go, like you said, has a dynamite lineup of shows. Not just shows that are currently on TV, but shows that are no longer on TV.
All Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
Any of their original programming,
Yeah, and also select movies as well.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Yeah.
Netflix, totally worth it, even as diminished as it is.
I'm starting to not think Netflix is worth it anymore. With the Hulu Plus, I've got all the TV that I can handle.
Yeah. Hulu's
HBO
great,
Go.
though I am a little bit, as much as I like the fact that they have a Hulu tier that is commercial free.
Yeah.
And it
Too
luckily
expensive.
Actually, it's not that much more expensive than the actual regular, because the regular one is only like what, $9, and the commercial free is like 11.
Something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not.
It's more like 7 and 11 or something.
Something,
like that,
yeah, it's something like it's. But I mean, it's like not that bad.
Yeah.
But my problem is like the Hulu membership should have originally been fucking commercial free if you're
Yes.
paying for it.
Yes.
But no, instead it was like no, you're paying to be able to stream it elsewhere.
Right.
Like through your console.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
if you
which is-
and now they're like, but if you want it commercial free, you got to pay even more for it.
But I mean, I think a lot of that stuff, like I've talked in the past about how much. I mean, Hulu got there eventually. Is
Yeah.
all I'm saying, right? Like, yeah, when it first came out and I signed up for it, I think because I wanted to watch Hell's Kitchen or The Flash or something, and then I didn't actually even watch any of that stuff.
Oh, I watch The Flash every week.
It was
It's awesome.
Wasn't there a thing where the guy was the one of the guys on the CW was like, we're gonna wait for like a year and a half before we
The
put
guy,
anything.
one of the head
Some
execs
jerk-off bullshit.
at CW is like, no, we want. He's trying real hard to push this thing because the thing is that here's the weird thing: the Flash and Arrow on the networks
Right.
are getting the highest ratings on that network.
Right.
The Flash is doing so well that it actually jumped the CW up 2 ranking slots on the network rankings, like
Jesus.
on full network rankings.
Over Oprah and the Learning Channel.
Oh, I don't know what it actually jumped them over, but it actually jumped them up 2 rankings higher
Right.
than they were previously. The Flash alone has done that.
Right.
And so you would imagine, they're getting a lot of people watching it. No, what it turns out is there are a lot of people that are watching it live on TV, but the amount of people that are watching it through Hulu
Yeah.
is almost like 3 times
Okay.
that. And so they're looking at it going, well, our ratings are really high, but they could be better.
Nope.
But those people are
Nope.
waiting. Those people don't want to watch it
Nope.
live.
Nope.
So we need to remove that ability
Nope.
to force them to watch it live, or
Nope.
else they have to wait a full year
Yep.
to be able to watch it.
Yeah. Congratulations, you just killed the Flash.
Yeah.
Like
No. Yeah. That's what, and apparently that's what the one guy is saying, and then like everybody else, even other people within the company, are like, no.
Yeah.
No, we can't do that. We are in a good spot right now. People like our network. Don't do that.
Yeah. Anyway, to get back to Mark's question here.
Like I said,
See,
it's where it's going to go.
I think that it's probably going to be. Here's the thing. I think that we may live through a time, and this is just out of my ass fucking prediction, right?
Yeah.
I think we may live through a time where companies start to try to pull their stuff and make their own shit like this.
Yeah.
I think that there's a very real possibility, though, that CBS might try this and then just end up going over to Hulu, because I'm not paying I love Star Trek. I'm not paying $7 a month to have access to a network that has one show.
Yeah.
I don't care about JAG or NCIS or fucking CSI, Two Broke Girls, 2.5 Men, Judge fucking Judy, or whatever the fuck else is on CBS. I don't care about any of that stuff. All I care about is Star Trek. And if it's a choice between, if you give me the ability to give you $2 a month just for Star Trek, I'd be willing to do that. But I'm not going to get into a situation where you have different things, where I'm paying $7 a month to every network that I want to watch.
Yeah.
Because Hulu is already they're already locking that shit down, right? This shit. I don't even know if it's already launched, but they'll get their lunch eaten by these motherfuckers. And the thing I really hope doesn't happen, John, is that they stick to their guns. They make the shit only available on their subscription service, and then Star Trek goes away because somebody wanted to play subscription chicken with the general populace.
Yeah.
The only way you'll watch it. And then they get a smattering of subscribers, and they're like, well, we didn't get enough money, so there won't be a season 2 of Star Trek. We still own the rights. We're not going to let anybody else do anything with it. But because we're so intent on putting this shit on our own network that we're going to, I don't know. The whole concept of networks to me should be the thing that's dying, is that who fucking cares? I would give Vince Vaughn $4 a month to watch Breaking Bad every week. Directly, without anybody's, put it on Hulu, and I'd pay. That's almost what I'd be willing to pay, is have some kind of service where.
Did you say Vince Vaughn?
Vince Vaughn? Vince Gilligan. Gilligan. Did I say Vince Vaughn?
You said Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn made Breaking Bad, right?
I'm just like, what the fuck does Vince Vaughn have to do with Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad.
I mean, I know he was in, what is it, True Detective season 2.
I never actually watched the finale of that. Anyway, I don't know. I don't think that I think that CBS is thinking old, and they're coming into this game too late.
Yeah.
That
well, a lot of them are.
They'd be better bracketing some kind of add-on like Showtime did to Hulu, where hey, if you want that Star Trek, pay an additional $2 a month on your Hulu subscription, and then all that goes back to them, and Hulu gets additional traffic, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
Because I think that I'd rather pay Hulu $14 a month rather than $11 a month and watch Star Trek than pay CBS $7 a month to watch one fucking show. And I think that the whole brand identity thing of a network is hopelessly outdated and should be gone.
Oh no, a lot of people do. A lot of people are right there with you, and right now.
No, John, I'm a trailblazer, man.
Well, no, I'm just saying. Right now, we're seeing a lot of these networks just jumping out and trying to do everything they can,
but they just
to stay alive, stay in business.
I think that the perfect parallel to me is Blockbuster Video. Is that they waited too long because they're like, well, there's no way that this online bullshit's ever going to replace TV. They waited too long, and now places like Hulu, HBO Go, and Netflix have a foothold that they're trying to catch up for, but it's just too fucking late. It would have been different if you would have started this shit when Netflix came out and was like, hey guys, $4 a month, everything that's on CBS, but now, no.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see here. Got a couple more questions here. Next one comes in from Tom. Tom says, hey, Jeff and John, fellow patron here, hail the mighty Cocklord. I'm following the new season of Doctor Who. Capaldi's take on the Doctor is one of the best. Okay. Question, what did you make of the controversy around the sonic screwdriver to sonic shades? Peace, Tom. By the way, if you really want to know literally nothing about the new season of Doctor Who, maybe skip to the next question. But
I'm going to plug my ears because I haven't watched anything for this Doctor Who this season.
Just small. Okay. All right. Are you going to go la 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 as well?
No.
If you're going to do that, don't do it into the microphone.
No, you're good.
Okay. Tom, I think that they're a little silly. I think that it doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. It just doesn't work as well as a tool. And but I've been enjoying this particular. I enjoyed this season of Doctor Who way more than the last season of Doctor Who. We'll put it that way.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Sonic Shades, a little stupid.
Don't know what that is, but I'm sure I'll get to it eventually.
Yep. All right, this next one comes in from Alex, who says, hey, Jeff and John, may the dongs be dongs, dong lords will be done. May the dongs be dongs, dong lords will be done. Okay. My girlfriend and I just bought a house, and we had issues setting up internet. It's been almost 2 months without internet, just bare bones from our phones. It's been almost unbearable finding myself at my mom's house just to use the internet. I do have a life and enjoy the outside world, sports and friends, but I don't watch TV. My entertainment comes from Rage Select and other online streaming services. Oh, look, it's a cord cutter. It's an under 30s. It's an over. I don't know. So, how would you cope without internet for the rest of your life? I must admit, I have been incredibly constructive, renovating the house, cleaning, studying, gardening, and general constructive things. Do you have any projects that have been in the back of your mind that you know will take a considerable chunk of your time you could complete without the internet? P.S. I live in Australia, and we bought the house in what is considered the country. The amount of deadly animals I have to kill on a daily basis is crazy. If you don't know what a redback spider is or a brown snake, Google that and be lucky. Plus the drop bears.
Oh, God, not the drop bears.
What's a drop bear? Ray John, proud patron, Alex.
I feel like that's a
Command and Conquer Red
comic
Alert.
book. I feel like it's a comic book reference to why am I blanking?
Bear-tastic. The Bear-tastic 4.
No,
The Bear
it's a
Avengers.
reference to
X-Bears. It's amazing
Next Wave.
Bearder-Man.
But yeah, it's all. Well, I think
Whoa.
Next Wave used them, but yeah, drop bears. They're
A drop
fucking,
bear. Okay, so let's check this out. A drop bear is a fictitious Australian marsupial. Drop bears are commonly said to be unusually large, vicious, carnivorous marsupials related to koalas that inhabit treetops and attack their prey by dropping onto their heads from above. They are an example of local lore intended to frighten and confuse outsiders and amuse locals, similar to the jackalope, hoop snake, or wild haggis. Wait, what's a fucking wild haggis? Is that like a haggis that roams around and kills people? Because if so, I'm going to go kill me a wild haggis. Stories of attacks by the fictional animal are commonly told to scare tourists. Don't try to scare me, Alex. I got Wikipedia. I'm not scared by shit. The wild haggis, a fictional creature said to be native to the Scottish Highlands, it is comically claimed to be the source of haggis. Oh, okay. So they tell tourists, like, what's in haggis? They're like, well, you go out and kill a wild haggis and bring it back and skin it, and that's what a haggis is. Or I'm not even remotely Scottish. That is a haggis. I work at Wikipedia here. That's very not scary. That is an actual haggis. Anyway,
Yes. Anyways,
drop bear. God, this is just a koala. Actually, it looks like there's a Photoshop.
yeah, it's a snake's mouth in a koala bear.
No, I think it's just extendo fangs.
Yeah.
Koala bear with giant fangs. And maybe like some weird snake eyes. Anyway, drop bears. Okay, so let's say that...
My frame of reference for them was the comic book Next Wave, in which Dirk Anger from
Dirk Anger?
the leader of
Dirk Anger?
yeah.
That's the best name I've heard since Maximum Dracula.
He's a parody of Nick Fury.
Okay.
But he basically he's attacking the super team Next Wave, and he screams out, release the drop bears, and then they drop a bunch of drop bears on the team. And
I was immediately thinking Command and Conquer Red Alert 2, where you can parachute a bunch of bears in and then attack them.
okay.
All right, so the internet, you've committed some kind of vicious cybercrime. You've been unlawfully convicted of committing a vicious cybercrime. You are now unable to go on the internet, have internet in your house or on your phone for the rest of your days.
See, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I would not be allowed to be on the site anymore.
Right. Well, I wouldn't be allowed to have a website anymore.
Yeah. And on top of that, and I'm just saying, if it was me, I wouldn't be allowed to be on the site anymore, which I'm sure some people would be happy about.
Oh, wait. No, that's not true. That's not true. Because you're not on the internet, or you're not. It doesn't say like you're not allowed to be on the internet. It just says you're not allowed to have internet access. Like you could come over here, record. We're not live streaming, right?
Yeah. I mean,
You
that
could
would
come
also fuck over my video game playing, because how much of video games now require downloads of patches immediately upon playing them, or downloading, or have to have always online connection,
Right.
So I mean, for me, I couldn't live.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be honest. And the side projects that I want to do,
Yeah.
that I don't have the time for,
Yeah.
that if internet was taken away,
Right.
I'll require the fucking internet.
Right. No, John, come on. No, come on. What are you talking about?
I have. Here's the thing.
It sounds like you're saying that if you couldn't have the internet, you would kill yourself.
No, I wouldn't kill myself. What I would be doing is spending a lot more time in coffee shops with free Wi-Fi if I wasn't allowed to access the internet in my home, because I have had a point where I had an entire month and a half of not having internet, and then proceeded to spend way too much time in various coffee shops with free Wi-Fi here in Austin.
No. We're not allowing any circumvention. You're not allowed to have the internet wherever. You go into a coffee shop, they know your name. It's magic, right? You've got the government put some kind of shit in your laptop. You cannot connect to Wi-Fi. They've taken the Wi-Fi cards out of everything that you own. You can have a cell phone, but
I'd have
it
a
can't be
very
connected to the
boring
internet.
life.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
because I mean, at least I'd be very bored most of the time. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would buy.
Go outside.
I mean, I would be buying comics like I normally do. That wouldn't change.
Sure.
But like a lot of the stuff, again, a lot of the stuff I do like to do, like playing video games and other things, do require internet.
Well, let's make a small loophole, right? You can't play games online, but you can get patches. Like just a patch to make the game work. Let's pretend, in our fictitious world, let's pretend that we live in a world where you put the disc in and it works regardless, right? That you're able to get those content updates. No DLC, but the existing disc will work.
Okay.
So like day one, Halo will play off of the disc.
Okay.
I don't know. See, I remember a time before the internet. I think it would be all right. Like, obviously, there wouldn't be a Rage Select anymore, right?
Yeah.
I'd probably have to find a whole new profession because so much of my profession is based on technology.
Well, that's the thing. So much of what I do requires internet access.
Mm-hmm.
Like what I actually do in my actual job, which is support,
Right.
requires internet access. I mean, how much of my day is spent in front of a computer having to browse the internet to fix things for other people?
Yeah.
If I'm not allowed to access the internet, even for my job,
Yeah.
then I have to find another job that I am not prepared to do.
I'd probably move, to be honest, John, because if you're cut off from all the culture shit that's happening on the internet, like why not just go like live up in the mountains and like hike and learn how to build a cabin and paint and play the guitar and just, I don't know, grow a way big beard like ZZ Top style wrapped around your head and be a mountain man. I don't know. In some ways it's funny because his question is actually very seductive to me some days. Where I'm just like, well, if I was literally unable to be on the internet, then I wouldn't have to feel the pressure of making sure that I was coming up with content. Anyway, I don't know. Alex, I've lived without the internet. I could live without the internet. All right, 2 more quickies, and we're done here. Paul asks, hey, Jeff and John, I was playing Warhammer End Times Vermintide, Orchid Man's Revenge. It just finished open access. However, the developers are still treating it as a beta testing ground. They broke the game on Wednesday. The enemies would just stare at you half the time. Do you think the trend of open access will lead to more developers treating the full version of their game as their experimental playground? I, being the reasonable developer that I am, had a closed alpha and released the full version of my game and only patched a first-day bug. He's plugging his game Chroma Star for the Android. He says, love the show, Paul. I don't think you have to visualize a far-flung future, Paul. I think we're already living in that future where companies put out games that are broken all the time.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Let's talk early access.
Yeah.
One of my favorite game developers actually really disappointed me with Space Base DF9.
So that's
which
Double
was
Fine, right?
Yeah, Double Fine. They had this game in early access, and it was not even in beta. Like it was in alpha.
Yeah.
And it was taking so long to even get out of an alpha phase that they just said, fuck it, put it at 1.0 and said it's released. The game was broken as all fucking shit.
And have they gone back and done anything since then?
No, not that I'm aware of. And they just basically said, cut our losses, and to make up for the fact that we kind of fucked you over for buying a game that's never going to be completed, here's some other games that we did complete.
Yeah.
That we were making around the same time.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, well, fuck, you know, why would you even do that?
Yeah. There's some argument to be made about the complexity of games like Fallout, right? When we were talking about that earlier, about saying that, like, again, a lot of times the bugs question is a matter of degrees, because the idea of saying you shouldn't put Fallout 4 out until you have managed to get rid of all the bugs in Fallout 4 is never going to happen.
Yeah.
You're never going to play that game. And with Vermintide, like, I know that that's an online kind of Left 4 Dead style Warhammer game where you're fighting against rats in the Warhammer universe, right? The OG Warhammer universe. So if it is an online game, I mean, it's very possible they need to go in and optimize things, fix bugs and whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of times, you know, as somebody who used to work on an MMO, like I said earlier, you do a content update breaks the game, game's broken until you can get a new update out there.
Yeah.
But that's not just as easy. Like it's sometimes you can just revert back, but sometimes it's easier just to fix whatever that bug is, push that through QA for
especially if that bug wasn't there when you did QA,
right?
And then you go, okay, well, why is that bug there? Because I've actually seen instances where companies have released a patch and then reverted it, and the game was still broken,
right? Yeah,
because whatever they did to the patch changed something in a way that even reverting it back to the previous patch left the game in a broken state.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of one of those things where they had to go, well, we need to figure out how to fix two problems now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as since this seems to be a question about QA, one of the things that I can say is that there is no better QA for your game than the general public.
Yeah.
They will do shit you never thought of before. Like, never thought of before. And they'll do it and they'll replicate it and they'll tell you about it. So in some cases, it's almost like if you can get your game to like 60% and then put it out and then have everybody else tell you, it's kind of, I mean, it depends on the size of your team, but it's kind of viable, I feel like, in some cases. You just have to make sure that your audience is willing to put up with that as opposed to just immediately.
Well, I'll use another game from early access that's not out of early access yet.
Yeah.
Road Redemption.
Right.
It was a game we played very early on.
Did that not come out fully?
I don't think it's out fully yet.
Okay.
Or if it has been, it just came out recently.
Okay.
But like a lot of the stuff that someone found out how to do something, how to set something, and by changing code in the game, and they mentioned it to the developers, and then the developers went, "Huh, well, we weren't expecting that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll fix that so that doesn't happen." And then one of the other coders or developers went, "Well, what if we turn that into a thing?"
Yeah.
And then actually turned it into a thing.
Well, wasn't that one of Double Fine's, what they're like WTF or Double Fine Party, or they made like a Connect game that was nothing but like bugs that they pulled in when they were like trying to make, I think it was like the Sesame Street game or something.
Yeah.
They made into a whole mini game collection. Anyway, Paul, I don't know. I think you're seeing it, but I think that it's kind of inevitable because you start to have to do a weird cost breakdown analysis of like how much are you going to pay QA before the game comes out to hammer the game. And also, I mean, you know, here's the thing. Do yourself a little mental exercise about Fallout, right?
Yeah.
And say to yourself, you're playing Fallout 4 and you see let's say earlier today or last night I was playing Fallout 4. I shot a ghoul. He was on a stairway, right? I shot 3 ghouls on the stairway. One of them fell through the stairway and then came back from the ceiling and hit the stairway, paused for a second, went through the stairway, came back and hit the stairway, came down. He did that like 5 times, right? He just was like falling through the world, but he was coming back from the ceiling, right?
Yeah.
You have to be able to replicate that. Like, as somebody who's worked at QA, programmers won't put up with you coming in being like, "Hey, man, I saw a ghoul fall through a bunch of steps." I'd be like, "Which steps? Which ghoul? Make it happen again. Make it happen 5 times in a row, and I might be able to fix it. Maybe." But the problem with a lot of this stuff is like, let's say you see a zombie that's fucked, or you see a ghoul that's fucked up in Fallout 4. Can you make that thing come back? Can you make it come back every single time? And did it just happen for you, or did it happen for everybody that's playing Fallout 4? Because if it's just a simple glitch in that way, you know, you may be talking about something where you have to overhaul the entire engine to make sure it doesn't happen. If you can recreate it at all, because that's one of the things about bugs is that you have to be able to make it happen every fucking time. And if the way that you made the game crash was by picking up a Nuka-Cola and putting it down and putting it down, and you do that 64 times, and every time you pick up a Nuka-Cola and put it down 64 times, the game crashes to desktop, that's not a test case.
Yeah.
That's like not something that anybody would ever think to do. You may think about taking something out of your inventory, put it on the ground, pick it up, pick it up, but nobody.
Or it could even be a thing where, you know, your character suddenly has the ability to do something that the game was never able to do, and it's because you somehow chose a very specific set of character facial structure, you know, when you're designing your character.
Sure.
And because you had it specifically set to these one settings, suddenly your character is doing something in the game that it shouldn't be able to do.
Yep.
And they have no way of doing it because there's all sorts of hundreds of settings.
And to be honest, like as I'm saying before, I don't think this excuses Bethesda from putting out a game that definitely has bugs. On the other hand, I think that with a game as complicated as Fallout 4, you'd be way better off selling that, and then fixing the things that people found in retrospect.
Yeah, because I mean, I'll be honest with you. You could probably take, and I'm going to say Skyrim, for example. You could take Skyrim and have everyone in the world QA this game.
Yep.
Like for every person there is in the world, you could have them QA this game.
Uh-huh.
They could do that for 1 year and would still not find every bug.
It's very possible. I mean, there's just so many, you know, like when I worked for this MMO, standard MMO, like 5 or 6 different races, right? And 2 genders per race, right? So one of the things that every time there was a new DLC where they were adding in a bunch of new costumes, was the first thing that you had to do was make every one of those characters, or we had a bunch of them banked, right?
Yeah.
Log into every character, give them every piece of clothing, and then try them all on in as many different combinations you could to make sure that they were meshing and that everything was right and that the chest wasn't broken, right, or that it didn't stick through or you could see the skin or whatever. So again, like, I think that there's some upper tier stuff in Fallout 4 that I probably would have rather seen fixed. Like, there's been a number of times that I've been playing the game where I'll go into VATS, shoot somebody that's far away, and then when it exits VATS, they'll be right next to me, and I'm just like, well, how the fuck did that happen? Or there's been some places where enemies have warped around or some of the camera stuff. That stuff, I feel like it's not unreasonable to feel like it should be fixed. On the other hand, you know, the ghoul falls through the floor in the sewer that happened one time for me, not such a big thing. So
Yeah, I get it.
I'm more interested in developers that are conscientious enough to take player feedback and try to fix things that they can fix, as opposed to releasing a game that is 100%.
Yeah,
that has.
And I'll say this for Bethesda: they are a company that if they see a lot of people experiencing a specific issue, they will go out of their way to fix it.
Yep.
So I give them that.
All right, and last but not least, this is from sign your name, bro, Jason, who says, I was watching Movie Fight, and they asked for a question. What franchise could legitimize video game movies? For me, the Overwatch franchise can legitimize video game movies because Overwatch game does have a story told by the devs of Overwatch, but they're not planning to show it in the game. Instead, show it in comics and books. To me, Blizzard should tell the story of Overwatch through movies, and the game just be the game. I don't understand why you can't just tell the story of Overwatch in optional cutscenes in the game. But
Because it's multiplayer matches.
okay, fine. Team Fortress 2, like you said, had the vignettes, right?
And that's what they're going to do.
Okay, and as long as it's not just comic books and books, I don't have to buy an Overwatch comic just to like. I'd rather actually see them just spin that shit off into like a TV series or movie or whatever. But
yeah.
Anyway, what franchise do you think could best legitimize video game movies? Is pick one, make a thing, and bada bing. I mean, if Warcraft doesn't fuck up, that's an oldie but a goodie. You know.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed, I think I don't know, man. They're throwing a lot of money at that, but that's such an esoteric story.
Here's the thing I think is going to happen with Assassin's Creed. It's going to be Sands of Time, Prince of Persia, or whatever it was called. And the reason I say that is not because it's Ubisoft and it's the same style of game.
Yeah.
It's because it's going to be a thing where if you actually watch the Prince of Persia movie, it's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie.
Yeah.
It's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of not Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
I think that's what the Assassin's Creed movie is going to be. It's going to be a good movie. It's not going to be a bad movie. It's not going to be a great movie.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. But it's probably not going to be indicative of the actual Assassin's Creed franchise.
You know, it may just be because I just got done playing it, but I feel like I've never been able to figure out why they can't make a Halo movie. Like, it's so... I know there's a lot of story behind Halo, but, like, go back to the original Halo of, like, Master Chief, Covenant, want to blow up the rings, right, or the rings, or whatever they were doing with the rings.
Yeah,
the Swarm, the Flood, and Cortana, and like a bunch of stuff. Easy for people in the audience to understand. You know, it's flying around a spaceship, got a guy in armor, he's kicking a lot of ass. Cortana, you know, three-way fight.
I mean, I think that with the shorts that they've done, the what is it, Forward Unto Dawn, and what is the other one that was with the Master Chief collection, Nightfall.
Never watched.
They've shown that they can do movies about characters that are not Master Chief.
Yeah.
That are in that world that are entertaining.
Yeah.
They just need to be able to do it on a bigger scale and as a movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing.
Okay.
But I think that they're scared because the last couple of times they've tried to make a movie, it's not because the franchise wouldn't work as a movie. It's because whatever deals they were working on, or whatever directors they were working on, or whatever people they were looking at to fund it or to produce it backed out or
right.
refused to give them the money.
I never thought that. I mean, because wasn't Neil Blomkamp in one of the things as a director with like Peter Jackson producing or something like that?
Well, he was. Yeah, it was supposed to be a full-on movie.
Yeah,
and then one of the producers, one of the studio backed out on it. Like the actual studio they had lined up that was going to produce it,
right.
backed out. Like Microsoft was willing to put in a large amount of money. Blomkamp did a lot of work on it.
Yeah,
and then the studio went, yeah, no, we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And never explained why.
I mean, that's such an easy. It's just like when I look at video games, I like to look at like what is an easy concept for
Yeah, I agree
people
with
who
you.
aren't fans of the movie, the game, to understand. I think Uncharted would make a fantastic movie.
Oh yeah,
both those, Uncharted and Last of Us probably make great movies.
yeah.
In fact, Last of Us is so kind of cinematically themed in its storytelling that you could probably make a whole TV show out of Last of Us and it wouldn't be a problem. I don't know. There's plenty out there. I'd pick any of the top tier. Let's see. What are the top selling games every year? Like Call of Duty. Talk about Call of Duty movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think those are they don't have a common storyline.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that people need is a storyline or a cinema, or like the kind of Marvel Cinematic Universe. They need a universe to
play around in.
yeah, to latch on to, where they can really get to know the characters.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. Warcraft might work. I mean, medieval fantasy is kind of a gamble. Dishonored would probably make a really good TV show.
Yeah.
It'd be really interesting.
Sci-fi original.
Yeah. They're putting out that one next year that's based on The Expanse, and I'm really worried about that.
Is that the Colony or whatever or what is it called?
Shit, I forgot.
Oh, I don't
the
know.
first Expanse book. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of stuff that you could probably fit into that. I don't think that they've done a good job of figuring out any of the BioWare games. I've always thought that Mass Effect could make a great. You can make a great Mass Effect movie, right?
Yeah.
You have to cut down a bunch of the parts of it, right? But if you took Mass Effect 1 and maybe stretch that into 2 or 3 movies, do Mass Effect 1 and end it on the Rachni Queen, maybe
I don't know.
something. But anyway. And that is all the questions that we have for you today. If you would like to send in a question, mail@rageselect.com is the email address. That is mail@rageselect.com. Don't send me spam about being in your corporate executive registry, stupid spam bot. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up because if I'm not mistaken, it's time to go eat some Taco Bell, right? Or
Probably.
Carl's Jr. Carl's Jr. We're going to play Warcraft 1. We're going to eat at Carl's Jr. And then we're going to eat at Taco Bell. First Carl's Jr. and then Taco Bell.